Right. Okay. On 1B.
Yo, what it do? What it do, chat? What is good with you, chat? What's up? What's up? Bird, Daniel, Barry, Merrill, Messi. What's good? What's good? Hey, Merrill, what's good, man? This is a football stream. Thursday, Fridays, and Mondays are WWE. So yeah, we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it football today, brother. For sure, for sure. Can y'all hear the podcast just fine? Actually. Let me get it tuned in for the channel here. Because I'm going to put my earbuds in for the phone. I hear you. I don't never knew who that was, Birds. It wasn't on this channel, was it?
They talking about the big guy in the middle. You check out Jay Tower. He's a big man. Hey, answer your question. It's like, hey, you say, hey, he's a big guy. And here's the thing. I want people to see. I know everybody is ready to push Mozzie off the cliff. I'll do a video later on. But looking at the numbers, the first 2 years for interior defensive linemen is basically low.
All right, there we go. Yes, this is not a wrestling stream, Merrill. This is for football.
A lot of one technique guys that are playing extremely well played into,
I never saw him. I never saw that name even in my channel.
That it really takes time to develop. Now, if he can't play this year,
lighting all messed up today.
But you start looking at it, because I can even say Jordan Davis. Last year was definitely his better year, and it's taken us time to build up to be where
I just got kicked out of the
and so that's what I look at and say Mozzie should continue. His first year injured shoulder Thanksgiving. I don't think Dan Quinn really worked him real well. He basically had to unload everything with him last year. He got better as the year went on.
Oh, it probably got thrown away because it was getting poured into the dirty clothes by Micah. All right, well, I'm on live, so you need to stop.
Listen, there, we and you and I talk about this, often, or at least I do. You still have to factor in.
I got to get the stream
the coaching change as well. Yeah, like what we had, because to your point with Jordan
like
Davis,
the first comments. I'll have to go back and look. Yeah, because I didn't never see it.
And it was his first year of
I never saw it.
Here's where the excitement is coming in for me.
It's like the lighting today is just horrible in my
this
camera.
Is our defense's second year under Vic Fangio. And, we got a bunch of them guys. We picked up Jordan Davis' fifth-year option, and then when you look at the linebackers that we picked up, you know what? Forget the linebackers that we picked up. The guys that we're bringing back, Oro, Jomo, Oren Burks. We got some guys that, that are coming back. This is their second year in the same system. With the same same coach. So and what's happening with our offensive coordinator mirrors what you guys are going through with your head coach. Because your head coach, I remember you telling me, your head coach is someone who's always been in the building. He's just someone who, it's not like you brought an outsider in or anything like that. This is the guy who's been there, who has a rapport with the Jones family, has a good rapport with all the players and so forth. Our guys do the same thing in terms of from an offensive coordinator standpoint. He's already said the language isn't going to change, which will make things easier. So now it's just like, oh, okay, one less thing that they have to battle with in terms of picking up this new offense.
Right. Yeah, that was
trying to get it set up here, guys. Sorry about that.
I'm going to learn their terminology, as opposed to making everybody else. I was like, okay, that actually makes a hell of a lot of sense.
But doesn't that sort of kind of mirror what we assume to be going on with Dallas as well, with your head coach? And the other thing too, which is going to be you guys too is that because you have a
What's up, guys?
What's up? And what they do is
I think that's
That's the main thing with them. They're a bunch of banged up guys. For sure. He played decent towards the end of the season. What up, Ryan? What's good? What's good? I appreciate you tapping in with us. How you doing? Hopefully you having a good day. I need to.
Why do you have to if you don't use it? Oh no, this is mom's, right?
in a long time. Yeah. For sure, DC for life, not for short. That's big time, big time. Trying to get my Bluetooth set up so that I can have everything situated. For some reason, my headphones just ain't wanting to connect.
So,
Mine now. Mine now. Mine now. Mine now. Mine now. Mine now.
Figure it out. It's not on the word. I agree, Ryan. I agree. Big time. They need to pay the damn man. Get it over with.
Oh no, but what I was going to say is
David Wiley in the house. Appreciate it.
What's up, David? How are you, brother? I mean, everything is a new year, people. Again, even when you're a Super Bowl champion, the coaches start off the new year saying, okay, it's a new group. It's not the same team. And you have to take on the identity of the new guys. Again, you've lost the new. Playing.
Yeah.
God, it's
Right.
beautiful.
I agree.
We take it for
Big
granted.
time.
You know what I mean?
I definitely agree. Can y'all hear the audio still on this stream? I'll just plug those in. All right. Can y'all hear that audio for the video playing? No, Eagles are delusional. The ones that believe that.
David
Birds,
Moore
and you know
had
that.
tweeted out
You
about
know
this.
that's a delusional
But
statement.
This is
Big time
Wade
delusional
Phillips,
statement.
where instead of being at a podium,
Nothing but
was
delusion.
actually sitting at a table,
And y'all say
which probably
Cowboys
doesn't
are
sound like
delusional.
much, but it felt like I'm sitting there having a conversation with
Exactly.
you
You got Micah
as
laughing at
opposed
that
to being
statement.
lectured.
A panel discussion.
Oh,
All
listen,
right, that's enough.
I
I
got
know
one
people
shot,
are gonna
one
laugh.
opportunity.
I know they're gonna laugh at us and troll us. I mean, I'm not saying anything. All I'm saying is he's confident. I don't care what you do in life. If you're confident about it, which is why I was talking about Howie Roseman in a glowing light also. See, a lot of these fans like Drew, they only hang on what they want to hear rather than hear my whole statement. I gave Howie Roseman glowing endorsement on his latest interview because why? He has an air of confidence that permeates that building right now, which helps you win. You know, you gotta listen to everything.
A
people.
belief in
You
him.
can't yeah, you can't just listen because your hate for Dallas is so much. A few of the positive things that we're saying about our team, and we're totally entitled to have that. But you know, again, I like the positive that Brian Schottenheimer's doing. I think that he said, "I'm going to be successful." You gotta love that, right?
Right.
Absolutely. If he didn't talk that way, I would be.
But
it would
you
be
see
a
it all the
problem.
time,
Yeah,
Leo.
right.
You see it all the
Right.
time when they don't do that. Like
Right.
Mark just said, that they talk down to you. And
Bro,
one
Nick
other thing-
Sirianni didn't do it. Remember that game time? Remember
yeah,
how
but
they
it worked
killed him?
out. It doesn't
Right, but I'm
always.
just
You remember,
saying.
there was some rocky road for a while.
Yup.
And he stayed on the road, and
Yup.
he came out the other side. You know what I mean? He came
Right.
out.
Right.
Some organizations would have pulled the plug on his ass. You know?
But remember how they but here's the thing though. Game time. Remember how they killed Nick Sirianni for not being what your guy is. Fresh out. And I'm talking like first
But here's a difference. Though.
He's not fresh out. Okay.
He's
Jason
he's
Garrett
been
was
in the
fresh
NFL
out.
31
No,
years.
I'm saying fresh out. First. I mean,
Yeah, as a head
first,
coach, yes.
press conference.
Yeah. And like, just real quick, and I'll shut up. The last thing I'll say about what I was happy with was he said he wasn't going to change, and he's not going to name names, but he's seen
enough
some
for
of his
now.
friends get
All right,
jobs
that's
in
good
the
enough for now.
NFL from
I'll
a
have to fix it.
coordinator
He broke
and
the
take over
actual
the head
book. I gotta
coach
replace it.
or get a job
I
in another
agree,
organization.
Ryan.
All of a sudden, they change. They're not the
All right, I gotta
same
get back
person.
into this.
It's a lot of effort to do what Brian Schottenheimer's trying to do, but I commend him for trying to do it. I think we may have gotten lucky in this hire, but whatever. We'll see.
Brian. Every time when I listen to Brian Schottenheimer, it's like listening to his dad all over again.
Party, yeah.
And we should have.
Yeah, his dad was a little more forceful. Had a little more grit when he talked.
Go ahead, Derek. What you saying?
We should have known that Mike McCarthy's tenure in Dallas was going to fail because he got the job off of a lie.
Right.
When has
Yeah,
a
they should have
lie
fired
turned
him.
into a great
I
something
think they
great?
should have
After
fired
you
him.
get something off
after
of a
the-
lie, when is it? You know what I mean? Like if you
You
ever
mean like
filled
when
out a
has it
job
translated?
application, if you fill out a job application and you got a felony, but you say no, I haven't been accused, I haven't been convicted of a felony, that job is going to be over.
Right.
Not because you have a felony, because you lied.
Right.
So I mean, it's the same kind of the same thing.
Well, here's the thing that I feel like when I look at this that makes me feel good. When you think about Micah Parsons last offseason, the season before, he only showed up for mandatory work and literally told you, I don't need to. Aaron Donald, basically a holdout and ended up being Defensive Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
But he showed up even though he's still working on getting a contract and credited to Brian Schottenheimer. So Brian Schottenheimer's already got Micah Parsons doing something he has not done the last 2
They
years.
had some sort of a conversation that Micah bought into.
Exactly.
I get what you're saying. I totally get.
And
the
when
implication.
you see the guys, the excitement, he's gotten excitement. I think he's young enough that he can relate to the players a lot better than Mike McCarthy can, and they're buying in. That's the thing that now again I can't say that they're going to be great or anything like that.
Yeah,
but it's definitely a change from where we were last year.
Fresh air.
Last year it was like
to go off what you're saying, Mark. I think and what Leo asked, I'm not worried about the defense. I'm worried about Dak's targets. It's the same targets as last year, and when he was throwing CeeDee Lamb, he threw 5 touchdowns, but he also threw 5 interceptions. They need another weapon.
Well, part of that
Slim Pickens, though, isn't that what Mark was trying to tell everybody? Like, look at
free agents
what's available.
Can I ask everybody something now?
Go ahead. Let Game Time get in.
I was on that one too.
The hot tub.
It's true. I keep hearing. Okay, I was with Drew. Drew had made a comment early on in the offseason that we should have went for DK Metcalf. I totally agree with that sentiment.
I was on that one too.
But outside of that, you're gonna have to get lucky unless they're gonna invest more draft capital for one of 3 players that we've outlined, or one of a couple. Garrett Wilson. I don't know that they're gonna give up like a 2nd-round pick for Garrett Wilson. The dude, the troubled player in Pittsburgh.
Right.
I don't know.
Pickens.
Yeah, that would probably cost you a 3rd, even though he's on the final year.
I was saying that earlier, Brian.
Wait, but Game Time, don't y'all
but what I'm
got
saying
that?
is, I don't know that they're going to do that. You brought in Mingo, okay, and I was watching some 2022 Mingo highlights from Mark Hutchinson sent it to me. He emailed. Mingo was a beast in college, okay?
Yeah, Ole Miss.
He's only played 1 year, and then last year when he got traded midseason.
Off of a bad team.
Again, he was. Again, I understand. I'm not. Again, you got to couch him. I'm not predicting Super Bowl, but I liken this, Leo, to back in the day when we felt the need. We didn't get enough fast enough, from a certain player, and I'm going to name him in a minute. But we felt the need to go give multiple picks for Joey Galloway, follow it up by going out and making multiple picks for Roy Williams, and we let a guy go. I don't know if he's in a Hall of Fame, but Jimmy Smith went on to have an unbelievable career.
Yeah.
So we let Mingo freaking have his second full year in the league. I get it. He was on our team, but he was come on, you go to a new year. I mean, he has a lot to prove, but he was a beast in college. So if you're asking me, long story short, do you want Amari Cooper? Sure, I'll take him for a 1-year deal to help. I mean, he probably ain't that. He ain't a Devontae Smith number 2. I'll tell you that.
Right.
But that's fine. He can come in.
Here's my argument.
You wanted to be
did we not get a running back and a first-round offensive lineman yet again to run the damn football?
Yes, and we'll be more balanced, which will help the
It
passing
ain't
game.
gonna matter if we do that.
Wait, but game time, you guys, I don't have my thing up, but you guys actually have.
I do.
Because you got the compensatory picks. You guys now have
2 more 5s.
Y'all got draft capital and money.
They can go out, but who do you want? Let me not you. I know you don't want, but who's really out there? Do you want us to go get a Pickens?
Well, no, you can, but with the draft capital that you have and the money that you got, you can do AJ Brown type of deal. And I'm not saying on draft night.
My thing is like, I don't want a guy that I gotta
argue that Eagles would have won a Super Bowl without Devontae Smith. I would argue that.
Because they had Saquon.
I get what you're saying.
I would argue that because I think that's how much the offensive and defensive lines mean, and I think that the running game. I would argue.
Okay,
right.
But
anyway,
but here, hold. Let me give you this real quick. We spent $19 million for Brandon Cooks, and what we got was 657 yards first year and 259. Okay.
Yeah, we got trash.
The Eagles gave up a number 1.
The Eagles have 2 1s
for Devontae Smith, and they got 1,496 yards, 1,456 yards, and 1,079 yards. Okay, along with 35 TDs.
And
so,
that's 1B.
Do you want to go bargain basement? Yeah, I get this, but okay. But between CD and Amari, when they were here, who was really the number 1? Who was really the number 1? And quite frankly, CD,
Amari,
you could put it.
CD wasn't CD yet.
Yeah, but you could put CD. Yeah. If I got a great player, if you're telling me my biggest problem is which one of these guys are going to be number 1, I'd like to have that problem.
Devontae Smith is like, in my opinion, he's not a number 1. He's a 1B.
Yeah, but if we had a 1,
there's nothing wrong with that. People get all offended when I say that, Leo.
No, you know what? No, you're right.
Touchdowns last year, maybe 780 yards, I think, 800 yards.
But here's the thing.
And
game time,
you want to hear the craziest thing here, though?
Game time, he's going to be on the team.
He's only 27. He's only 27.
Yeah,
and I love and I'm on your record as. I was the idiot. I would have said, "Hey, listen, if you can get a good deal, I know Eagles don't want to do it, but I mean, Devontae is better for the culture and better for that team, in my opinion. I love Devontae as a team player.
Yeah,
good. It's awesome that he's next to AJ, but long term, I agree with Leo. I think Devontae is going to be there long term.
Yep.
They'll go out and get another stud in a couple of years. Whatever. I mean, it is what it is.
But, almost like Antonio Brown and Juju Smith. When
did you see that? Did you see that video? Of
see, that's my thing, though. Is
cooking that dude.
I'm not sure.
Shiloh. Yeah.
Antonio looking good. The hell with Amari Cooper. Bring back.
I think Garrett Wilson ran good.
Definitely not the guy.
AB looked real good against Shiloh.
Yeah, I don't know if that's an indictment on Shiloh, but
it is.
Garrett, okay. Ultra's talking about Garrett Wilson. Could you imagine getting?
I love Garrett Wilson.
Oh, that would be amazing. But I think that
that's the problem, though, Mark.
Nobody
would have any more excuses.
I'm fine with that.
That would be amazing.
I'm fine with that. I would like to go ahead and say, Dak, it's on you, Dak. Okay, give him the
If you
weapons
got,
and
if you
everything
went
else.
and got Garrett Wilson, that's when you would be like, it's on you, Dad.
You got to look at it
I'm
like
just
this,
saying,
Bird.
What do you mean?
There's no more
Wilson was a number
Eagles
2.
have-
We had CD
I mean, that's
Lamb,
beyond
and
Super
then
Bowls in
Yeah, like if we got
60
Garrett
years.
Wilson, that's 1-1.
Cowboys got
There's no
5
way
in their
here
first
there.
30.
Yeah,
I mean,
Right.
Garrett Wilson is
They
just
got 5 in their
ridiculous.
first
So,
30.
you know,
The second
And
30
we have-
1-1
Are the
basically
Cowboys-
on.
Are the
So
Cowboys?
would you
We've
would
got
you
5 in 60
would you
years.
think
Y'all
that
have
would
two.
Garrett
do you,
Wilson.
And we've given you guys
The
30
problem
years
me
to
of this-
catch up. When we get
playing
5
the-
in 30 years and you
That's
guys
his
have only
only
got
problem.
2 in 60.
Yeah.
wait a minute, Tommy, say
Garrett
that one more
Wilson.
time. You're lagging. Say that one more time.
No, I said Garrett Wilson is a beast. The only problem he have is he's playing with the wrong team.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only
Right.
problem he got.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
again, and I don't know where we're going with this, but I will have some frustration. I'm hearing somebody in the background. So
I think it's
it's Thomas. Mute your phone, buddy.
No.
I
don't even
my
listen
only
to Jerry no
frustration
more.
is,
I'm muted
is that
when
Jerry
Jerry's
Jones
talking.
was promising a lot
Always
of shit
pointless.
before the draft,
yeah, 2. We did not.
and now we did nothing. So I expect the local media to call him out. Don't get all caught up in all this shit you're doing now.
Can't trust a word Jerry says. He's full of shit.
Yeah,
I don't
he
even
is.
listen to Jerry no more.
But my thing is with the
Jerry
number
talking.
with the number 2
Uh-oh.
receiver,
Which
I don't
way
want to
do-
go
which
into
way
the
do we
season
have
with a
today?
receiver that I
Walk
know
away.
can
What's
be
up,
a
big
help.
dog?
I want to go
Walk
into the
away,
season
bro.
with someone I
Please be safe
know.
on that road.
We had meltdown way this morning.
God damn, you all
Yeah,
fucking
I don't
nonsense.
want
I was
to
laughing
go
my ass
Mingo
off this
and
morning when I
Tolbert
was
and
listening
step
to that.
up. I want
But
to
my
know
thing
the
Or
guy
afterwards.
that's gonna, and then if
with the
they
number
do
2
step up,
receiver, I don't
then
want
that's
to go
just
into
better
the
That'd be
for
season
hot.
us.
with a
But the
receiver that I
Cards
hope
have
can be a
somebody.
number 2.
Thank you.
That's what
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Now we need a number 2.
I
We
wanted.
got the
I was
same
banging
weapons
on the
as last
table
year, man.
all draft.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
I don't
saying.
want to hope Mingo and Tolbert can step up. I want to know the guy that's going to. And then if they do step up, then that's just better for us. But then we'll already
Exactly.
have somebody.
A DK Metcalf
right,
acquisition
I
would
did-
have answered that for you, basically.
Oh, 100%. I agree. But
He's gone.
that's not
So
that's not the Joneses, man. They're
There's
not
not
going
a
to pay that.
DK
I got you.
Metcalf left out there. So
No. They were saying
That's
earlier.
I know,
they
but I
was-
just
okay.
brought up that if everybody wants to not give Mingo a chance, we had a guy named Jimmy Smith here. I don't know if some of you remember him.
I remember.
I don't know. Leo, is he in the Hall of Fame? If not, he's
I think he is.
No, I
Jimmy
think he
Smith
did.
was an
I think he
unbelievable
did, yeah.
player, and we
I
let
think
him
he is
go.
in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but we also let go Danny Amendola too.
Yeah, we did.
Again,
Yeah.
we had to have somebody else. We didn't like
And
him.
Tre'Davious Ward.
Let these guys breathe a little bit. We have a running game. You invested all this draft capital. All you people who had to have, and I'm not against Booker. Everybody was wanting first round offensive linemen. When my experience, coach them up. Yeah, you don't need first round talent, but we did. So you better effing run
That's
the
the
ball.
plan.
Well, that's what I was going to ask
Now,
you.
that's
With,
the plan.
with the
and
with the
on paper,
acquisition
that's
of
gonna work. We
Booker
have
and
to
the
wait
things
and
that
see
the
if it's gonna
investment
be
in the
first
O-line,
efficient and
does
do
that
what
Three
mean
they're
first
that?
planning
round
to do,
picks
because
on
it's
the O-line in the
unknown
last
until
4
we see
years.
it.
Yeah,
But they're
and
planning
so
for
that
that.
means would you think that means you guys are going to run the ball more?
Yeah, I
that's
don't want
that's
Dak
the
to
plan.
throw 35
Brian
times.
Schottenheimer wants
Now
balance.
that's the plan, and on paper that's going to work. We have to wait and see if it's going to be efficient and do what they
Right.
want it to do, because it's
Right.
unknown until we see
I'm
it.
not against
But
going
they're
out and
planning
getting
for
a stud, but all that's going to do is make them want to throw the ball 35, 40 times.
Yeah,
That's
I
not
don't
how
want
you,
that.
that's not how you win in this league. Like we're
You had a bunch of
commending
studs.
Josh Allen for winning a
Yeah,
playoff
but
game, and he
just-
has
hold on,
11
Brian.
completions.
Just
11.
because you get another stud doesn't
Yeah, I don't
mean
think
you're
it's
going
not
to
in
run
his
the you're going
DNA
to pass
to
the
be.
ball all the time, because the Eagles got 2 studs and they just pounded the
They
rock
didn't
all
win
year
because
long.
of the two
So
studs.
I
They won
don't
because of the
think-
running game.
I hear you, but just because if we got 2 number 1 wide receivers, I don't
That's
think
the thing, is I
Schottenheimer's
want the
going to literally
availability
just
to
be
be able
pass
to do
happy
both.
with the offense.
But what I'm saying
I
is, if
don't
you're
think
going to
that's
go
going
out
to
and
happen.
spend
It's not in his
$27 million,
We've been watching what other teams
if you want to
do.
go out and spend $27 million on a
Because if I need to pass it, I got that
we've
weapon.
been-
Because if
Go
I get
out
into a
and get
game where I
something
need to
on
pass it,
defense.
I got that
Spoiled in
weapon.
the 90s, and
That's the
we've been
thing, is I want the
deprived in
availability to be
2000s.
able to do
guys are
both.
greedy, man.
That's right. We're
Yeah.
Cowboy fans. We want it
But
all.
again,
Hey,
we
won
won
a
Super
super
Bowls
team.
in the
We
90s with
want
Michael
super
Irvin
teams.
and a bunch of crap.
Alvin
won
Harper
Super
wasn't
Alvin
crap.
Harper was overrated. Alvin Harper was
But you also had Jay Novacek there,
because
too.
of Michael Irvin.
Just because Alvin Harper literally catching that ball in that '92 NFC Championship,
Yeah.
we won
Yeah.
that game. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
he was like
I can't
Cedric Wilson
do
streaking
that
down.
like that. I can't do Alvin like that.
He
I
was like
can't.
Cedric Wilson. He was like Patrick Creighton. He was
Cedric
like that
Wilson
guy.
ain't never. Cedric Wilson ain't never made a catch like that. Sorry.
He went and got himself a free agent deal and shit the bed like Larry Brown did.
Hold on.
Damn, now you sound like Walker Wade now.
Hold on. Patrick Creighton dropped that slant in that playoff game. Alvin Harper wouldn't have dropped that damn ball.
All I'm saying is Alvin Harper.
That's what Mike Fish was saying.
Because they tried to make him a number one. He wasn't number one.
That's all I'm trying to say. He was not what you guys want. Alvin Harper was Mingo.
I want a number one.
Man, I banged on the table all the way up to the draft.
I need two number ones. I need two number ones. Mark, you want two number ones, don't you?
I want two
number ones.
I want two.
I don't want no Noah Browns out there, man.
There's not many out there. DK was the best chance.
Murray Cooper ain't number one. So
yeah, number two.
I need Dak to have the best weapons possible.
Google it.
I understand Wade's frustration. He doesn't remember the Super Bowls. He only reads about them. So I get it, right? I mean, I get your frustration, Wade.
I got it on VHS though.
I understand why you're
He's a number two, but that's all I'm asking for.
Okay, if you're giving me,
why would you not want two number one wide receivers?
Who? But Garrett Wilson, fine. Who else is there? Pickens,
I would take
fucking head case.
Jamison Williams.
Number two.
I'll take DJ
Williams
Moore.
is not a number one.
He's a number two.
I'll take DJ
Moore.
He just said two number ones.
I'm telling you about Pickens. Even Brian said it.
I don't mind Pickens, but he's a one-year guy.
I would
just know that you're going to give up a third-round pick.
All I'm saying is I don't think he would be a one-year guy. We'd have to re-sign him after getting him here, wouldn't we?
Decide and tell him, hey man, that shit that you did in Pittsburgh, that's not
shit. I
happening
think that
remember Michael
undrafted
Thomas when
tight
he
end
came out
has
of
some
the
of
league?
that in him.
Michael Thomas wasn't a highly regarded guy.
Damn, Drew. Who the hell was Fenoy?
Was good.
I can't wait to see Ryan Fenoy out there on the field. He's got some Des Bryant in him. Okay, and his first, I believe he dropped his first.
No team is going to touch him, or otherwise he'd be.
Yeah, well, that's one thing too. I think they got to use their tight ends more. You got to do the 12 personnel like Mark likes with Schoonmaker and Ferguson. And actually
Ferguson's got to stay healthy and get back.
That's my biggest knock. That's my biggest knock on the Eagles.
Yeah, well, they need to use Schoonmaker and Ferguson, I think. Because...
Yeah, now that's another thing. We got these tight ends that we need to get the ball to. We need a good number two. We don't need to go out and get a number one. We got Mingo. If you want to go get Amari Cooper, you want to bring. I like Keenan Allen for 1 year. That's fine, but. You guys are going to be happy. I'm telling you right now, 6 games into the season, you guys are going to be like, wow, I really like Mingo. And that's fine. It is what it is. I want to run the ball.
Hey, I've been preaching that all year last year, though, or last year with Tolbert.
Yeah. I want to run the ball, Virus, and I want to get the ball to our tight ends. I want to put the ball less in Dak's hands, set up play action.
I think it's going to start off that way.
Kavontae Turpin is going to be a receiver. Everybody's forgetting about that.
Yeah, we forget.
Mark. Kavontae Turpin is going to play receiver a lot more this year. We only got him in gadget shit last year.
Do you think game time? Do you think it'll be running back by committee?
Yeah.
In my opinion, they can keep Lipke, cut everybody, and take off rookies and run with them.
Yeah. Blue will
Get
start.
rid of Jamison Williams and Miles Sanders.
Again, everybody says, "Oh, he's small." No, he's not. He's 5'9" and a half, 198.
Yeah, and he's quick.
And rumor has it he's already put on muscle, so he's over 200 pounds.
My opinion, they can keep Lipke, cut everybody, and take the 2 rookies.
Yeah, he's a dozer.
Well, you got Miles. He's going to go to camp. You got Javonte Williams. You got the 7th round kid who has. We'll see. I mean, he's
the power back.
Well. Yeah. He's got 3.7 yards.
Donovan looks nice.
The contact at Clemson. I don't want to hear, Clemson's not a powerhouse. Okay.
No, that's not true.
Okay, I don't know what
Dolphins went to Clemson.
I'll thank you, Game Time. Yeah,
I'm really excited about the edge rusher from
Jeremiah Trotter Jr. too.
Yeah.
And my biggest knock is
I'm excited about him.
We haven't picked up a tight end, and we're still trying to figure out what's going to happen with Dallas Goedert.
Well, you're real. That's
game time. I'm out here looking for lot lizards.
Oh boy,
truck stop.
Wade's looking for the lot lizards.
No, it's awful sticky out there, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, be careful out there, man.
Especially in Oklahoma.
Double up, definitely.
I want to triple up.
You look like you're at a Buc-ee's there, bro.
Oklahoma.
I'm at the Blind J.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I forget what I was. Mafa, yes, that's it. Yes.
Facts, Derek.
Again, we'll see. I just
My
want.
boy Blue.
I mean, everybody's sitting there. We're allowed to be excited for what possibilities are. I'm not going to be like last year. I had no way of knowing that our team was going to fall apart the way it did physically, and they didn't get off to the best of starts. We're going to play it by ear, but
well,
we're
it'll
excited.
be between them and the Giants.
We're allowed to be
But
excited.
I agree.
People. I think Washington's in for a rude awakening this year.
Well, I can't wait.
Don't get Momo back up in here.
I'm thinking Washington is in for a rude awakening.
I think Washington goes back to where they were at the bottom of the.
Because you know how it goes,
Yeah,
Leo.
I agree, Leo.
No, you know how it goes, Leo. There's going to be teams that made the playoffs that didn't.
I think they will.
So, in each conference.
I mean,
Exactly.
I will say this though.
Where's my bitch?
You know, I will say this though. You know, what I'm excited about is some good quality football. I think that these are going to be some really good games this year, for sure.
Yeah.
And if you look at our schedules,
Oh yeah,
They're tough.
I mean, god damn. You know, like
Get out schedule release.
y'all hear the
yeah,
audio
bro,
from
we're
the
facing
video
like
just fine?
everybody
I
who
wanna
was
make
in
sure
the
everything's
playoffs
good.
and
Y'all
this,
hear that
who,
just fine,
those who
right?
just barely missed
Yeah,
the
we're
playoffs.
gonna get in the playoffs. It's gonna be
40
earned.
minutes in,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's going to be battle tested.
Yeah, because we're playing the AFC West, and
Yeah,
every team in the AFC made the playoffs except for the Raiders.
Whoever wins the NFC East will be a battle-tested team by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Will have been a
Started
The
off
question
right
will
out
be
the
though,
gate.
will they be beat down?
That's what I.
Okay, as
Health
in-
is
yeah.
going to be the biggest thing. Yeah,
Who do you guys want? Week
ask
one?
Detroit.
Jerry Jones wants the Eagles week 1.
I would like the
Why
Eagles.
So do I. I agree with Jerry.
You know,
That's the one thing I do agree with Jerry on.
I'm afraid it's going to be the Giants. They always do the Giants.
Yeah, we'll be
Cowboys.
in
playing the
MetLife.
Giants
week
You
week
get them
one.
week 1
Yeah,
at their home.
I don't either.
Well, they
but
did
I
last
think that's
year.
what they
Yo,
always do.
you sure you want the Eagles week 1?
I do.
Yeah,
I want to
walk
come
you
to your
guys.
house
Absolutely.
week 1, Leo. I
Come
want to
on,
come
ring
to your
night?
house
Come
week
on now.
1 and beat that ass.
I don't know if I want them week 1. I want them
No, I
later.
do. Come
I want
on.
them later.
Nah, now's
You get 'em week
week
at
one is
their
when you
home,
want them.
Yeah,
They're all
tailgate street.
fat, happy, man. They're all talking this.
True.
That's when you want them. And if you lose, then
I
hey,
might even fly to
lost to
Philadelphia
the-
for that one.
yeah, I told
Hey,
you.
hey, well, I
here.
already told you what it is, man. I already
Stay
cleared the
outside
way
in the
for you and Mark. You know what I'm saying?
wagon wagon.
I already
I've-
cleared
I've
the
got-
way.
I have
Welcome to
another-
come out too.
Leo, I've got a his name's Kayla, who's down here, big Eagles fan, and he's a big man, and he goes to all the Eagles games. So he's talking about it. It's like, yeah, man, why don't you come up to the game with me? I'm like, I'm thinking about it.
Come on, Mark.
Thinking about it.
Yeah, and you know, hopefully, you know, Walker Way to come up will come up too. It'll probably be the opposite for you guys. You know what I'm saying? You guys are probably, you know how when Walker goes to a game when we play y'all.
Oh no,
Dallas-
no! I'm never going to another Eagles game with Walker Wade, man. I've been mollywopped twice with Walker Wade. Man. You know, I love you.
We may win it.
We can go to that Mexican restaurant and all that, you know, where they have the automatic weapons, but we can't go.
We may win that game. We may win that game though, Mark. If it's the reverse, if I go to Philly, maybe we win. It's got to be the other way around.
Come on up, Walker. Come on up, man.
That is true. Reverse it.
Walker
Come on
Wade
up,
does
Mark.
look
Yeah,
like
I
some
told
good
him that he
GT
can come stay at my
glasses.
house. If Phil come in, and I'll bring him to the game. We'll meet Mark there, and then you know he can stay a couple of days. I'll take him to Atlantic City. You know.
Do we have an armored car to get us there, to get us in and out?
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
You know, I
When's the
know there's
schedule
one
release?
posters in Philadelphia.
Wednesday. Next Wednesday.
Wednesday? Okay.
Yeah. I'll be
All right, for sure.
doing live. Doing it live.
50%
Yeah.
of the salary
I'll
cap
be
is
there.
on IR.
I'm
50%.
more or less, like I said, I think health is going to be the
Yeah,
the
well,
defining
again,
factor.
like Drew keeps saying how
We
bad
had
we were last year. Yet
50%.
not saying nothing about we lost. We led the league in guys on IR. We lost our everybody. Not even
50% of the salary.
We lost
I thought
all our
Detroit
edge
did.
rushers pretty much.
Nah, we
in
had more
training
guys
camp.
on IR.
Damn.
Yeah.
On defense, Detroit did, but like the whole
It's
roster
a-
was
Okay.
us.
I mean, they
Yeah.
didn't lose their
Yeah,
starting
50%.
quarterback. Let's face it. You guys lose Jalen, you're probably not going to the Super Bowl, let alone everything else. We won 7 games with that shit show. again, am I
With a
saying
team that
Super Bowl?
didn't fill in their holes.
But yeah, to me, last year you throw it away and then you start over this year. And
Well, it was an emotional thing for you guys too, as well. I remember Dak being on the sidelines and saying we fucking suck.
Yeah, it was bad.
So
it was ugly.
It was all. It was.
And
it was
all,
all
well,
the way around.
like you weren't.
Did he say that?
Good anyway? But the year prior, when we won the division and we won 12, we got off to a horrible start that year.
Did he say that though?
Yes, he did.
I can say
He was talking.
You just reading his lips. I could say olive oil, but it looked like I love you.
Yeah, he admitted it. He admitted it.
Yeah. Derek.
He wasn't lying.
Derek, come on, bro. Stop, Derek. Stop, man.
I'm trying.
I know. I like, damn, dog. You know what I'm saying?
This guy's a lawyer or something.
Hey, Roy, you see how hard Derek was trying to salvage that?
Drew, you said Dallas was ass. They were the same team the first 6 games when we won the division the year prior. Go look it up. Remember? We were horrible. We had over our bye week, we had to go into a hotel room with McCarthy and change the whole offense. And Dak went on an unbelievable run, and then we made the playoffs. Ultimately choked against Green Bay, granted, but we had a wonderful year winning the division. The year before last, we got out to a horrible start. So we were like 2-4. So
but here's the thing. One,
have it both ways, bro.
But one, Dak was playing bad before he got hurt.
Yes, he was playing bad 2 years ago.
Hold on. Wait. Okay. Yes, Dak was playing bad, but remember, we were averaging about 62 yards a game running the football. Our defense had 2 games in there that they could not force a punt. Okay, could not force a punt. All right, and we had the worst separation in the NFL. Brandon Cooks wasn't there.
We almost came back into it.
No, and he had an
you follow me, right?
Rolling off his
right. No, I'm with you, Mark.
And then we had 2 rookie offensive linemen. So to say that Dak wasn't playing good, who the hell was playing good on that offense?
Same way the year prior, Drew, and won a division. So you can't say that we would have been that team for 17 weeks. That's my problem with your thing. You said through 5 games. Okay, well, through 5 games 2 years ago, Eagles were the best team in the league, and then you fell off and lost 7 in a row. You cannot use that logic, man. It's the NFL.
You gotta go with the totality.
You gotta talk to me at the end of the year, man. You can't go, well, you weren't playing good. Yeah, okay, we weren't playing good 2 years ago either. When we won the division, turned it around. Are you not listening, or you don't want to listen?
I think we just make this a fucking.
You don't want to listen to
They need to
you want to go with your narrative.
Sit in my room.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Set my one TV in my room and have everything else in here for game day.
Who's that?
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
Sound like somebody on the down low, man. We got the
TV before he hits the room or something.
We about to hit the room, baby.
I was going to say, about to have a Shannon Sharp moment.
I had a roast box, make everything hard.
Remember, if you're gonna lose picture, everyone, you got to do it about 2 hours before. 2 hours before.
Have y'all heard?
Drew, I'm just telling you, we won a division 2 years ago. We got off to a horrible start. So what's your rationale for that? Again, you can't say. Eagles did it, for crying out loud. Eagles got off to a great start, then went in the tank. You can't talk after 4 weeks and say that's our team for the whole year. That's not
Cincinnati
fair.
starts off.
I still don't think we're far enough removed from that year to know what is.
Cincinnati.
I just don't think it's fair to say, well, for 4 weeks, that's who you are for the whole year. You suck. If that's the case, I don't know. You guys are smarter than I am. What's the team that starts off bad every year yet always finds a way to make the playoffs? Is that Buffalo? I don't know. There's a team that always starts off hard. Cincinnati, boom. There's another one.
They always go 0-2.
So if you start it right there and just stop it after the first month of the season, Cincinnati sucks. They make it to the playoffs.
Impartial.
I mean, I'm just trying to keep it real, people. You got to be. You got to take off your Eagle glasses and just relax a little bit. Nobody's saying we're winning a Super Bowl, but you can't sit there and make blanket statements. Because you don't know. Just like I don't.
You can't make blanket statements based off impartial.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm excited. Is there something wrong with that?
Yeah,
no,
I think
I know Vegas' number went up a full game to 8. It was started out at 7, so obviously they're doing something right.
Yeah, I think you guys are still in. You guys are still in the midst of a years long rebuild.
Yeah, like we have some work to be done, but it's the NFL.
I think this year is going to be a good stepping stone for the
It could be
Cowboys.
quick if they hit on some of these free agents. If not, then you're right. Then we'll be a 9-win team, 8-win team, and maybe next year. I mean, but as if I sit here now, I'm going to give us every opportunity to win games, and we'll see. I think that's fair. Nobody's saying we're doing nothing. You know, I just think certain people just want to hear you suck and that's it. That's not the case. You're entitled to your opinion, but it's not really fair to say that.
Right.
So I think it's fair to say that we got our work cut out for
Somebody
us.
just spreading false.
We have talent. We have a lot of all pros on this team. Dak. I think it all comes down to Dak, right? Now, Mark, you made a video earlier. And
I made a video? Oh, surprise!
Well, you said something about Milton, and I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing. What happened with Milton? Or you just?
Oh, okay. So this is one of those anonymous. No, it wasn't. I wasn't clickbaiting, or maybe
I don't know. I didn't.
Maybe I was. Okay, I woke up this morning and I see this thing about Joe Milton wasn't a team player and that he was some problems in.
And who's saying this?
This was a radio host who, of course, said that he had, of course, an anonymous person who worked in the facilities.
Oh, anonymous
and
person.
yeah, that, he wasn't happy about his situation, wasn't the team guy as far as the quarterback room.
Well.
And, of course, it's like, he's probably looking and saying, Drake May sucks, and, I can probably at least do as good as him. At least give me a shot, We're not going anywhere. And so I can understand that one. So that's where it was.
I think there's a good
so there was nothing that
possibility
happened. It's just
this is just speculation.
Oh,
This is the Cleveland Browns guy talking about
made the
that
bold
being
statement.
there.
Game time. I've heard this. Dak goes down. Milton ain't getting that job up.
Here we go.
It's over. It's over for Dak. It's over. If Dak goes down for 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks or another season, it's over.
I think Milton
will take it over.
In Milton we trust, Mark. There he goes. He's starting on this now.
But
I didn't say that about Trey Lance. I didn't say that about Trey Lance.
You didn't, but
I will say this about Milton. I will say this about Milton.
He could get Dak.
I didn't say it about Trey Lance either.
I
think Milton has the opportunity and the potential to possibly do that. It's still an unknown as well, but I don't want Dak to get hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I do think that if he does get hurt, that there is a possibility that he could get Dak like he did to Romo.
Right.
There is that possibility. I think
if it wasn't for Kellen Moore breaking his ankle,
let's see if he can get to be backup quarterback before we have him actually running the Dallas Cowboys. Because I heard people saying the same thing about Trey Lance. Oh, Trey Lance is here to take Dak's job.
Though Dak wasn't even the backup quarterback whenever Tony Romo got hurt.
He wasn't like the third guy.
You remember,
he was
the third. Literally, remember, Dak couldn't even beat out Kellen Moore in training camp to be the second string
quarterback.
Hold
on, let's go through it. During OTAs, he was the fourth string quarterback behind Jamil Showers. Okay, so when they got to training camp, he was the third string quarterback. Kellen Moore broke his ankle. Dak moved up to second. Was fortunate because Tony Romo didn't play in preseason games and had the veteran days off, so he got a lot of reps. So when Romo did go down, it wasn't completely that he was the third string quarterback.
On your butt.
Fortunate situation.
If it had been that Kellen Moore hadn't gotten injured and Tony Romo got hurt, Kellen Moore would have been the starter and stuff. Dak would have never got the reps that he had and probably wouldn't be here now. Because he would have been playing sometime in the middle of the season and would have looked like ass. But yeah,
what I like about Milton is even when he's scrambling, his eyes are downfield.
I can see the similarities here in terms of the way things are potentially setting themselves up.
He's looking to be a passer.
It's not completely unfamiliar territory.
Milton's young. He's big. He's got a hell of a cannon on him. I mean,
what I like about Milton is even when he scrambles, his eyes are downfield. He's looking to throw the ball. He ain't looking to run. He can, but he ain't looking to. He's looking to be a passer. Which I like that. I like that he keeps his eyes downfield.
My buddy, who's a diehard Patriots fan, right after that trade happened, he called me. He said he's going to take Dak's job. Give him 2 years.
Well, 2 years,
Those
we
are
can
his
walk away
first
from
words
that.
on the phone call. He said in the next 2 years, he'll have taken Dak's job.
Well, 2 years is good then. Fine with that.
That's when there's an
But
out with
not
Dak's
now.
contract.
And that's the thing, though. It's NFL now for long. NFL, I'm Dak. I'm telling him, look, I'm not trying to put it all on Dak this year, but I'm telling him, look, man, you're in your 30s. You get us to a Super Bowl, NFC Championship. Well, that all that shit will quiet down. Period. You got to stay on the field. You cannot get hurt.
I didn't think he had 3 of the same leg injuries.
He's got to stay on the field. He cannot get hurt. He cannot have another leg injury to that leg. He cannot, because then, I mean, I'm not even just trying to say it, but if you've had 3 leg injuries on that same leg, we're talking career here.
Yeah, his back and his collarbone.
I didn't think he had 3 of the same leg injuries.
No, he's had 2
2
on that same leg. If he had another catastrophic on that same leg, I would begin to say, okay, hold on. It's not good.
Yeah, they
Kind
are
of like Romo's back, everything
but I
started
think they're
falling
getting
apart.
the offensive line right a little earlier with Dak they did with Tony. Tony, they did it, year 12, 13, they started getting that offensive line.
This is looking like Romo all over again because they're literally doing the same shit. Oh, man, we need to get the offensive line right. Romo, they're doing the same shit.
Are they going to play their starters in?
But I think they're getting the offensive line right a little earlier with Dak than they did with Tony. Tony, they did it, year 12, 13, they started getting that offensive line for him. Dak's, year 10?
Yeah, they need to.
Yeah, maybe I don't know if it makes a difference, but they are doing it a little sooner.
I'm there with you on that, too.
Respectively,
Run the ball.
excuses Dallas is so talented with all these wares. Okay, Drew.
Run the ball.
All right, so
I'm on Mark's side here. I need another number 1 wide receiver. I agree with him 100%. I don't give a damn. I need all the weapons I need for Dak, period. I don't care if he's number 1.
All right, so as we roll on through here, how do you all
if Dak can stay healthy, I think it's at least 10 games.
You feel like we're ready to start competing, or are you still? We still suck ass.
I think the Cowboys are going to be a better team the next year.
I got you.
Than last year. Sorry, I think they were going to be a better team than last year.
What up, Trent? What's good?
They definitely will. If Dak can stay healthy, I think it's at least 10 games. But if he stays healthy.
I think we'll be a better team. We won some games last year. Hell, we could have won at least 9. I don't want to talk about them.
We were a touch punt from being 8.
What I will say though, Mark and guys, what I will say is this year's going to be more of a test.
We should be. So that's 9 right there.
Here's a way of looking at it, Mark.
Way worse than last year.
You know what, Mark? Here's a way of looking at it. Of the losses that you guys had last year, how many of them were barely, and how many of them were convincingly? You know what I mean?
Well,
you lost by
was convincing. 49ers convincing. Lions.
New Orleans was convincing. So was the Ravens and the Lions.
Yeah. 49ers was convincing too.
Yeah, those were complete blowouts. But that's when we first either had Dak.
Eagles.
No
Eagles was convincing.
I'll get your ball.
Yeah.
So then,
that's the thing, though, is Leo this year's going to be more competitive. There's a lot more brutal schedule for the East this year. I think we're going to be a better team, but I also think we're going to go through a much tougher level of competition and gauntlet here this year.
The division as a whole, Walker, is going to go through a gauntlet. And so that's why I was asking, when you think about the defense, you guys' defense. You know what I'm saying? In comparison to from this year to last year,
Williams,
defensively, which ones were the more convincing? And then how many of those guys are actually coming back? Who are you guys expecting back off of IR? Right? Aren't you guys expecting some key pieces off of IR this year?
Overshawn, Diggs.
Yeah, but that'll be like the middle of the season.
Williams will be there.
Knees concern me.
I hope Williams still has a job. He's got to fight for it in training camp.
Yeah, his knees concern me.
We don't expect N'Kobe Dean to be back until well into the season.
That's how we are with Diggs.
No, Michael
And
Gallup
maybe
only had
over
one.
And then Diggs may not be the same when he comes back.
Yeah,
Right.
Dig, those knees concern me.
There's always that possibility. I hope he is, but
He started to
his
get a
knees
little better
concern me, but I
after
have
Zach
hope
got
for him.
hurt. Weirdly.
Wow.
Okay,
When
so
Brock
let's-
you know,
it's like he
because
felt like
Michael
he didn't
Gallup did.
have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he.
No,
maybe
Michael
felt like
Gallup
he
only
wasn't
had
having to help
one.
but hurt
And
Zach.
Steele, that year he came off, man, he was
I think
just
that
a
kind of played a
turnstile. I don't know
factor,
what.
Mhm.
Hopefully this year he's pretty good this year.
He started to get a little better after Zach got hurt. Weirdly,
And
Brock
when
came
we
in,
started
it's like
running the
felt
ball
like
more, he
wasn't
got better
having
too.
yeah, I feel like he maybe felt like he wasn't having to help but hurt Zach either when Hoffman came in. I think that kind of played a factor too.
Okay, so real quick here, our away schedule, we'll find out next week the exact schedule. We got the Giants, we got the Eagles, we got the Commanders, of course. We play at the Bears, at Mile High, at the Lions, the Raiders, the Jets, and the Panthers. On that, the ones that you definitely say we are, not, we're looking up at the Lions and the Eagles and maybe the Commanders. I don't know that we're looking up at the Commanders or not.
I don't think so.
I don't think we're looking up at the Bears, the Broncos. I'd say we're probably about on the same keel. I'd say the Panthers, the Jets, and the Raiders, I think we're better than them. When we talk about at home, of course, we got Giants, Eagles, and Commanders. We got the Packers at home. We got the Chiefs. We got the Chargers. We got the Vikings, and we got the Cardinals. Now, I almost feel like the Vikings might be one of the teams that reverts from being a playoff team to then kind of taking a big step back. The Chargers with Harbaugh, but at least we got them at home. That'll be interesting. Of course, the Chiefs, we know what the Chiefs are. The Packers, a good team, and Commanders, Eagles, Giants. Is it as bad as we think?
I mean, I think the Broncos will be solid. I mean, Sean Payton getting the Broncos pretty solid from what it looks like. I mean,
and
that
you will
could
be playing
and they
on the
were
road.
playing in Mile High too, so it's there's a few toss-ups. I mean, I think that's a 50-50 game. I think the game against
we stole their coach though. Their O-line
I think the game
coach.
against the Chiefs. I'm not saying it's going to be. That's going to be a tough game. Eagles,
One
Cowboys.
thing I can say,
tough game. Jets, I'm not really worried about
one thing
that.
I will say,
Cardinals,
though, is, like,
I don't
we
know,
rate
man.
the
We have
schedule
difficulty
up
with
for
the
the
Cardinals.
teams
I don't
that
know what to say
played
about
last
that.
we don't know. Every team has that 30%.
And we got the Panthers, too,
Some
though.
of them aren't the same the next
Them damn
year.
Cardinals is pesky
So
as hell,
we don't
man.
know. The schedule
They are
looks
pesky.
tough.
We got some
Teams
toss-up
may fall
games. We
off
just got some toss-up games. I
that
feel.
were on last year, and some
One thing
may
I
be
will
on,
say
so
though
it's hard
is
to
like
say.
we rating the schedule off of the teams that played last year. We don't know. Every team has that
That's what I'm
30%
saying.
turnover,
Yeah.
and some of them aren't the same the next year. So we don't know. The schedule looks tough, but some of those teams may fall off.
Well,
That were on last
for sure.
year.
Well,
It's hard to say.
but you know what
I
though?
don't
It
think
looks
teams like Denver are going to fall off. They're building. They're young and they're building. They're going to get better.
But the schedule only looks it's only really tough. It's really tough because who these teams are at the first 5-6 weeks of the season aren't the same teams by week 12, week 13, because then injuries have come into play, the whole 9 yards. Again, look at Detroit being the biggest example that I have in terms of, like look at how they started off hot throughout the season, but as the season kept going on, they kept losing more and more people on their defense, so and that's why I'm like, well, do we really want them at the beginning of the season or do we want to see them later in the season? Which is it? And look, we have to go, like the Eagles have to go to, we got to go to Buffalo.
I can give it here. You got Buffalo at Buffalo, of course, at
in
Dallas.
Buffalo.
You got to go to Green Bay. You got to go to Kansas City. You got to go to the Chargers. You got to go to Minnesota. You got to go to the Giants. Of course, play us at home. Giants at home, Washington at home. You've got the Bears at home, the Lions at home, Denver at home, the Raiders at home, the Rams at home,
and Tampa
Bay.
That top team
and of course,
schedule.
Washington.
Hey, Leo, I ain't trying to be funny or nothing, man, but y'all got a little murderous roll on y'all schedule.
Bruh. Like, believe me when I tell you, I am not delusional on that. Like, I realize, like, good God almighty.
That's
I don't know.
that
Maybe 11 and
schedule.
11-6 might be the thing. You know what I'm saying? 12. I mean, whew, this is going to be murder. You know, but okay. You know, look, I'm on, and don't forget, Mark, I'm on the hook. You know what I'm saying? I already said repeat.
Okay.
Really.
You can't go 11. Well, I'm not saying you can't, but no, you need to win at least 12 games.
Yeah. I mean, with the way this schedule is looking, like Jesus, you know, health is going to be again. I keep going back to health is going to be the big thing. You know, if we're not somehow or another, we have to try to be as healthy as we were last year, which was a miracle in of itself, right, Mark? You know what I'm saying? You know, so I don't know if we're lucky, if we're blessed 2 years in a row like that.
You know, what do you think, Mark? What from the opponents? What do you think? What are you predicting? I think we're going to go 10-7.
I think 10-7.
11-5.
If the Cowboys make a couple more moves, I could say 11-6 would not be a stretch.
You're predicting a double-digit season for you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I said I think
barring not that many critical injuries, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think without injuries, we would have had 10 games last year, and we are better. I'm talking about a healthy Dallas team week 1. I think this team is better than that healthy team.
I want to see Booker
I think we are too.
So
Definitely, I agree.
That would have just made us a wild card last year.
And wanting to play us. And wanting to play us week 1.
If we would have had a double-digit win,
scary, bro.
Okay, all right, Drew.
We're not scared.
You know,
If we would've had
there's
a
nothing like somebody super chatting you to beat you down.
9-2.
Yeah, one more time, Mark.
There's nothing like somebody who super chats you to beat you down. Jalen Hurts beats good teams, unlike Dak. Let's see. Well, he does beat the Eagles on a regular, so I guess y'all ain't a good team. Is that what you're saying?
No. Well, does the record say that?
Dak Prescott's record against the Eagles?
No. I'm saying our record. We're Super Bowl champions.
I'm just saying. He said that Dak.
One Super Bowl
that's
time.
not. He,
okay.
Let me read it again. Jalen Hurts beats good teams, unlike Dak.
Bro, that was
Dak
last
beats
year.
the
You guys
Eagles.
won Super Bowl last year.
We've been to the Super Bowl twice in 3 years.
Oh, Lord.
Hey.
Tell it to somebody who cares, there, bro.
I'm just responding. You know, like, hey, you know, like I'm just saying. I mean, if you think about it, Jalen has beat Josh Allen. He's beaten Patrick Mahomes 3 times. You know,
How many times did he beat Dak Prescott?
Times. He's beaten them 2 out of the 3 times they played each other.
The Eagles.
Beat Dak Prescott? 9-2.
Is Dak Prescott his kryptonite?
The Eagles have.
Dak Prescott is not. Okay, you guys are the champions of the regular season.
I'm just saying. No, I'm just answering the question. He says that Dak doesn't beat good teams. He's beaten you guys. I think isn't it 9-3?
9-2.
I'm just saying, or something like that, right?
Hey,
so are you saying you're not a good team?
I'm not even going to deny that. Yes, he's beating us.
I'm
yes,
just
but
saying,
but a broken clock is right twice a day. So,
hence the 2 wins. Go ahead.
Then it shouldn't be a question. You should always beat the crap out of us, shouldn't you?
We did.
Oh, we beat you every time.
Not with Dak.
Regular season. That's fine.
Didn't we smash y'all last year?
Dak didn't
with
play
the backup quarterback with Rush.
Okay. That's
Cooper what we're talking about. Well, when we have
you're
Dak
talking,
Prescott
They
behind
came in on
there,
a mission.
behind that line, we beat you guys. So
now
we're
that
not
game
scared.
in Dallas, I don't know if Dak could have saved us there. I'd have been
when Dak was playing, he was on his back
Cooper Rush was getting killed. Cooper Rush was getting killed that game. Dak would have just been taking some shots that damn
He
game.
didn't have a good season.
We don't know though. We don't know though.
Before he got hurt.
I was there. Me and Mark were there. I seen it. No, that offensive line was like turnstiles. I don't know about that.
And when Dak was playing, he was on his top foot throwing the ball or on his back every game, all games, always.
That was
so he didn't have a
Jerry
good
needs to
season.
fix that. He needs to fix that light. Like glare.
Hey, listen. As long as I don't. Dak can beat us every time y'all play. As
That'd
long
be
as
a
it
good
doesn't
one.
translate into
I will.
playoff wins.
I'd like to see him play you in the playoffs. That's what I'd like to see.
I
That's what I'm
would
saying.
too. I would really like to see Dak play us in the playoffs.
I would love.
I think that would be great. I think that would be awesome. It's just not likely to happen.
Eagles Cowboys playoffs.
Yeah,
That'd be a good one.
Yeah,
Definitely.
That would be.
That almost happened
got
last year,
hurt.
right? Or the year before, or whatever, 2 years ago.
Well, yeah, it's just I don't think it would
we
be
would have
irrelevant.
beaten San Francisco. We would have went up to Philadelphia.
Philly, right?
NFC
Yeah,
Championship.
exactly. Yeah, that'd have been.
That would have been a way better game than 49ers Eagles.
And
yeah, well, you know that was the Disney story. They wanted the Mr. Irrelevant Texas team to something to the Super Bowl, and they win, and they were showing the father, and he was on TV and everything. The problem is that you marched Mr. Irrelevant in front of a bunch of goons.
So you're using excuses to why you
was
lost?
not interested. They were not interested in playing football. Them dudes was interested in just beating somebody's ass because they were threatening to break the record for sacks that year, which means that was a goon squad. And so you don't put somebody like a Mr. Irrelevant in front of a bunch of goons and think you were going to win. And to really drive home the point, they marched their backup quarterback in front of the same group of goons, and they bust his ass too.
And I'm going to be honest with you, Leo. I think that year Cowboys had a good chance against the Eagles in that NFC Championship game. Everyone, don't think they wouldn't have.
Ghostface,
every time the Cowboys and
Dak is
Eagles
2-1.
they always have the starter
versus Hurts.
The Eagles beat the Cowboys that year.
You got it backwards.
We
Ghostface.
split. I think we split that year.
Yeah, we split that year. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
One
Been
of
way
them's
better.
always out. That's why they've only gotten 3 games against each other.
Right here, Ghostface. Dak is 2-1 versus Hurts.
Oh, it's 9-4.
So don't put the lies out
every time
there.
the Cowboys and Eagles play, they always
I
have
might
the
have been
starter
saying
out
before
for some
last year's
reason,
season.
one or another.
Because I think last year it kind of.
Whether it's their starter or our
Put a
starter,
number-
one
one
of them's
number on
always
there.
out. That's why they've only gotten 3 games against each other.
And it's 9-4. Dak versus the Eagles.
Oh, it's 9-4.
9-4.
Taylor. Hey, what it do? We'll get
I
a
might have
little
been
bit
saying
longer
before
live
last
stream
year's
once
season.
once the podcast ends. I'm gonna
I
come
think
in and
last
have a
year
couple
it
things that
kinda-
we could talk about.
Put one number on there.
All right, so let's get our final thoughts in here. I got to go out here and plant some grass seed before I hit the road in the morning.
Football
Not sure
is
kind of
amazing.
grass seeds there, Leo.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you say grass, that's
You're like,
what we talking about. Yeah,
it's like, hey, let me get on down to the red brick house then.
Well,
football is amazing. Football is amazing. I've been sitting here watching the comments most of the time, and everybody's predicting what they think is going to happen, what they know is going to happen, but nobody knows anything until they actually play the games. And as a Cowboy fan, I'm going to tell you we're going to be good until the Cowboys show me we're not.
How
I
are you a
expect
fan if you
every
ain't?
fan base to have that same, way of thinking. I expect the Jets fans to say, hey,
you're
we're
not
going to be
rooting for
good
your
until
team.
the Jets show them they're not. I expect the Browns fans to say they're going to be good. Because if you're not behind your team, rooting for your team, what
Delusional
are you?
about your team.
What are you? If you don't have any simple belief in your team, why are you here? So everybody should be, my team is going to be good until they're not. That's just me.
I agree.
Amen.
Well, I think you guys are the way you guys have been
Showing us that
responding
they
in
were
the
willing
last
to
couple
do
of
something
years,
help that.
to the move or the lack of quality activity is saying something. Because again, I noticed how, as a fan base, you guys seem to have come back this year a lot quicker than you did last year. So I do find that. So I mean, and that I find that to be encouraging for us to have a really sporty type of season of us, doing the smack talking and everything like that. And again, that's the reason why. That's one of the biggest reasons why I'm here, because I enjoy the back and forth. I enjoy being humbled, as you guys like to do. You know what I'm saying? And I also like to do the humbling. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to some quality football. I'm not going to sit here and say that y'all made some terrible moves and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's ready to watch
it's gonna be
someone's
terrible.
love
I
of
don't
the
know.
game
You know what I'm saying? I just know I'm looking at the tea leaves and I'm just seeing how you guys have been moving. Again, I really like the Tyler Booker draft pick just because, again, I heard homeboy say the shit that he was saying. It was like, Okay.
Yeah, he's ready to watch
That's a big
someone's
key,
love of the
yeah.
game leave.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. That
We only
royal.
Lost a couple
Like I
last
was
year
like,
during
oh,
training camp.
we only
damn.
got 3 months left till preseason. So
Yeah,
it's gonna be all right.
and we
Hot
got to still.
line.
Everybody still got to get through training camp healthy.
That's a
Like
big
I'm
deal.
always
Very
holding
true.
my breath. I'm holding my breath the most during training camp. You know,
It's
like
like
oh
a couple
Lord,
last year during
please,
training camp.
please don't let
That
nobody
Feelings
get hurt.
mutual. Don't worry.
So again, I'm anticipating a really good season, an entertaining season at that from you guys. You know, but I ain't gonna lie. I do not wish you any success. I hope you lose. I hope you lose every game. I hope we blow you out. You know, all that stuff.
Feelings mutual.
And
We
vice
root
versa,
for the
yeah.
same thing, Leo. Trust me. I
Right.
hope we play out week 1 and like literally 40 burger your asses in Philadelphia. I really hope that.
I actually look at it differently. I actually want you to be good, and I want us to stomp you to take your dreams away. I want us to be the cause and the reason when you look at it and say, we were good, but the fucking Cowboys stopped us. I'm sorry, Dad.
Well, I like seeing y'all be built up like y'all being built up. I hear all this.
Oh, we're not being built up.
optimism.
No. This is actually crazy because I don't know if it's because the Cowboys are actually running the team like a regular team. It used to be really easy in the morning. I could go through and get up every day. They would talk about the Cowboys or Colin Cowherd. You're not getting all of the Cowboy takes like you used to.
I hope it stays that way.
I have to actually really hunt to actually find them. And I dare say that so many things that have transpired this year have not been what it usually is. Usually it's Jerry Jones talking about glory holes, going all in and things. We haven't really gotten the Jerry-isms this year.
I hope it stays that way.
They filled a bunch of
and
needs.
I hope it does too. And when you look at them actually going out and signing Osin Digizua and making some free agent moves, maybe they're not the big splash ones that everybody likes to hear the names. But a lot of times those don't often work out unless they're for the Eagles.
Well, I mean, Mark, though, but like, here's the thing: there are tendencies that I would just be like,
and we'll have more when we
I
sign
mean,
them.
come on, bro. It's negligible when the front office makes deals with guys or waits. It's negligible that Micah is not signed yet.
Yeah.
At this point, come on, and y'all sitting on all that money too. Like,
here's the thing about sitting on all that money: it's going to
have
add
more
to the
as well.
kitty.
Say
Signing Micah's going to add to the kitty.
But again, why I said it's negligible that he's not signed yet. Like this is
It's because the front office is bad at contracts.
Exactly,
Well,
and then when I look at how y'all paid way more for Dak than what you could have, and I can remember when Jalen Hurts got his big contract. Mark, you was teasing us.
Yeah.
And then and here's another question I wanted to ask you earlier. Okay, Mark. Today is 2025. What's your best guesstimate of where the cap would be in 29? Remember how you were saying it went from 170?
I'd say about 375.
Another 100 million?
Why not? It's been 55 the last 2 years. It's been almost 100 million.
Oh, okay.
It's been almost 100 million since 2020. 2020 it was 189.
And we're at 270?
275 or 277. So it's been almost $90 million in the last 5 years. And 55 in the last 2. So, of course, percentage-wise, the higher the number is, the more money there is. There's a big because you can look and say if it's 200 million and it's 25, then that is what percentage-wise, 25. That's 12%. If you say 12% of 300, then now you're talking about 36 million.
6 million, yeah.
Right, you follow me, right?
Yeah.
So as it gets bigger, then
yeah.
that's going to continue to grow even more. So easily by 29, it could be 307. It might even be 400 million because they're going to get an 18th game. That's going to be probably 2 more weeks. If they put an extra game in there, they have to put another bye week in there.
Yeah.
Which means that's 2 more weeks of television that's going to be on. That right there is a boatload of money on there.
Wait a minute, and Mark, wouldn't that also be extra buy plus you have
That's
to
what I'm
add
saying.
in your mini buys, right?
Well, yeah, the
You still have a
13
few mini
but
buys
basically, you're going to end up having a 20-week season. So even though your team's not playing 2 weeks, somebody else is. So that's a big chunk of change that's going to be added to that kitty. And you see how they're working now on flag football?
Yeah.
The reason why they're doing that is growing the fans for the future.
Yeah. Yeah. And getting the females involved too.
Exactly.
You know, so then to your point earlier, you know, when you think about the dead money hits, it's not going to be as severe as what we thought when we initially, like when the Hurts contract came out.
The percentages will be a lot lower. And see, this is where it was smart of you guys to sign guys when you did. You just signed your center after 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So you still have that fourth year where the contract is dirt cheap. You signed the contract that's, you know, top of the market, right? But you're not actually paying for that. Not this year. Not next year. You're then paying.
No, you're 100% right, Derek.
In which case, that market is going to rise.
The money.
So the actual money you're paying on the contract, because you have that a couple of years left, is going to be lessened.
Even up until the
But we run it out till the last minute. So now we're paying the market rate right now. As opposed to later. Holly, Jones are making Micah work for his contract, which I think made him do an attitude adjustment, just my opinion. Holly, I hadn't thought about that, but you might be 100% right on that. Did you guys get that?
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, and she might actually have a point.
Yeah, make him go ahead and say, okay, you want to be a leader? Let's see how much of a leader you're going to be. Let's see what you do. Because, you know, you can say, oh, yeah, I'm going to be a leader and this, that, and the other. We pay you money, and then you don't do jack. Right now, he's forced to be. Holly, I'm going to have to do a video on that. Shout out to Holly.
Yeah. No, she actually, that's a good point there. I can't deny that. But so when, and if you add in 229, right, Mark? Isn't that in between now and 29, the new TV contract comes into play too, right? That's part of that.
Which is why I think they're looking, well, I think they're looking at it because streaming is taking off. You're better off having all these different providers with the games on every which way, because now you got, if I'm Netflix, it enhances my package by having the NFL games on it. NFL is bigger than any show that's out there.
True.
That is the whole enchilada. And so if I'm Netflix, if I'm Amazon, if I'm, you know, all of these different ones, I want to get a piece of that NFL.
Yeah, the problem is they're changing the integrity of the game too much. They're changing rules. They're being a little bit too. They're being a little bit too strict on tackling and stuff. I get trying to protect people, concussions and everything like that. But hold on, these guys know what they're getting into. They know what they're getting into. You shouldn't mess with the integrity of your game to try to protect people, because this is what they signed up for since they were little kids. They love football. They love playing it. This is what happens when you play football at this level. Hockey doesn't do that. All the other impact sports don't do that. Why does the NFL need to do it? NFL,
yeah, but the other sports didn't have movies like Concussion come out on it. Other sports don't have players literally dying on the field.
They already knew what they were getting into.
I understand
but you know what,
that.
though? I think that the one thing that I feel like needs to change, because you hear all these rules and everything like that.
Set them up medically for life.
Take
care of all their medical expenses.
Yeah, but one of the things that I think needs to happen is, which has never happened in the history of the NFL, is the field needs to change. They need to make the field, stretch it out like the Canadian field. Like it's wide, it needs to be wider. You know, these guys are playing on the same field, the same size field that the guys were playing back in the 20s and the 30s or whenever. You see what I'm saying?
We had here's how ridiculous the game's getting now that changed. They had 2 shutouts last year. 2 shutouts. That is ridiculous. Yeah. The fact that you only had 2 shutouts all year, that's meaning you're changing the field position that much with kickoffs and how you're doing stuff like that.
And the rules.
That's ruining the integrity of the game.
So make the field wider and make it longer, or either make it wider and longer, or just wider. You know, let these guys. You know,
but the NFL is getting what they want. Scoring is more popular than seeing slugfest. It just is. Chicks dig the deep ball.
I don't know. I don't know. People say I guess scoring, but I mean, I like a defensive game. A lot of people who have been watching this for decades, like you, Mark, you like defensive games. You like slugfest.
But here's the thing, though.
Fantasy football,
they got you.
Change the game.
Look, Wade, they have you. It's not about you. You're going to watch whether it's a slugfest or not. It's about making appealing to others, to the new fans.
Right. I'm gonna watch regardless. But as a guy that's been watching for a long time, like you've been watching longer than me. As you've seen the progression of the game, how it's changed, it's like I tell them, y'all need to quit doing this. Like I understand what my words are irrelevant, but you're ruining the integrity of this game. Like you really are.
I agree with you on that because see, you got to understand when I look at the kickoffs, I hate that. Okay, because I'm the dude that used to remember running downfield, full speed, 40 yards, and running into a wedge to stop the kicker. I mean, to stop the run backs. And now to understand that that's gone completely, to see the ticky-tack, oh, my God, they touched the receiver, so we got to throw an illegal contact penalty. To see the quarterback get looked at sideways, and here it is, unnecessary roughness, and they get 15 yards. It's like, this is ridiculous that you've taken the aggression. When you literally have cornerbacks that make a play and they have to look around, am I getting flagged for this? It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
But Mark, wouldn't a wider field mean plays last longer? It would also mean that you're less likely to have those catastrophic type of injuries as well.
I'm not. The thing is, between the players not wearing pads and them being as strong and as fast as they are. Remember back in the day, I remember in the mid-'80s when Dave Butts was like the first 300-pound guy. We all look at most of the Steelers defenders, they're like 220, 230, they weren't as big as they are. When you see somebody
but they're playing on the same field from 100 years ago.
What I'm saying, though, is I don't care if you make it a longer field or not. If Calais Campbell at 6'8", 320 pounds is running full steam at you and hits you, that shit's gonna hurt. Okay, you look at some of these players that are literally guided missiles, and I don't know that a bigger field is going to save that.
Now the kickoffs, Mark, what I'm not liking is you're putting teams in too close of a position to kick field goals after like 2 plays completed. That's not good. You're putting the opposing teams in scoring position too fast. I don't like that. That's the difference between winning and losing. If team could throw up points on 2 plays,
Me too.
Two short passing plays already at the 50-yard line, about to kick a field goal. I don't like that.
Yeah,
I don't like that. Back to the 20-yard line we go. They need to take it back to the 20-yard line.
There you go.
Yeah. I would agree with that too, Walker Wade. I would agree with that too. Come on.
I don't like how much they keep moving that forward.
Yeah. It's at the 30.
Especially with the way these quarterbacks are passing. I mean, dude, one completion, they're past literally from the 35. They're past midfield and field goal range. One pass.
Especially when you got a Brandon Aubrey as a kicker.
Yeah.
You get a Brandon Aubrey there. Shit, we get to midfield, man. We in field goal range.
And I'm glad you said that because that's my second sticking point with the Philadelphia Eagles is that we did not draft a kicker. And I in these past few years, and I'm sure you guys can appreciate the priority someone puts on kicking. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that we didn't get a new tight end and we don't know what we're going to do with Dallas as of yet. And then I don't with Grant Calcaterra and whoever else, I think we should have drafted a tight end at some point too. So those are my 2 sticking points. We didn't pick up a tight end and we didn't pick up a kicker.
Well, our kicker and CD Lamb, MVPs of our team last year.
Right. That's why I said I'm sure you guys can appreciate the sentiment here in terms of those are my 2 sticking points. in terms of this past draft with the
Knowing
Eagles.
Jerry though, he'll let him go. Dude, that's what I hate about it. Like Jerry, sign the kicker. Like, what are you waiting? Hey,
You did,
Aubrey's
Drew.
contract's
Yeah.
coming up.
Yep.
You ain't letting him go nowhere.
All right, good
Hell
people.
no.
We have been on here for
I'm sure you've
2
seen my hand
hours.
glow orange a
Plant
couple
my
of
grass
times.
seed, okay? Because we gonna get high.
I
that's right.
am Mark. I am.
You
already
always,
there,
oh
brother.
Lordy.
Yeah, I've been doing since I got on. So yeah, I planted my grass seeds.
You guys
I'm
are
sure you've seen my hand glow
you guys are
orange
way
a couple of
behind. I've been
times.
smoking all day. You guys are all behind.
Oh,
Derek, you should be
my man
getting
Blue. I feel
that
you.
plaque soon. I made sure I sent Michael the address and stuff on it, as well as we have some new channel members. Those kits are going out as well. So let me say to everybody, I appreciate everybody being in here. Keep the faith. Don't listen to Lomo and Leo about
Do
us.
listen to Leo.
Threw me
Do
off
listen
for
to
a
Leo
second.
because you end up doing videos on the things that I say, Mark.
Dude is high as a kite, man. Don't
But
be
Mark,
listening
you
to him.
end up. You always
Okay,
end
look,
up
I got to
doing
get out of
videos
here.
on the things that I
Can't
say.
stand it anymore. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here.
Oh, like,
Down, get a hold of yourself.
Stewardess, please let me handle this.
I've got to get
Throw me out for a
Calm down. I'll get back to your seat. I'll take
I
care
know what
of
it
this.
is. I know what it is. It's the airplane shit.
Doctor, you're wanted on the phone. Everything's going to be all right.
No, yummy. No, yummy. Okay. No, yummy.
The culture.
No, yummy.
No.
I need help. Oh. No, no,
What's good? What? What's good, brother? What it do? Yeah, it sucks. That's sad. And now you're home. Braves lost yesterday 10-3 to the Dodgers. It was delayed till 11 p.m. Damn. That's crazy. Late game. Late game. Hey, I'm glad they still play it, though, at night instead of trying to reschedule it to another day. Even though I'm sure the boys are tired. Housing market's crazy. I'm going to leave that meeting since we can't have it on the screen anymore because the actual stream has stopped. But hey, what's good, everybody? We tapping in now. It's just you and me. The podcast with Mark Holmes and his crew is over. Shout out Mark Holmes. And hey, thoughts and prayers go out to that boy for what he's, or that man, for what he's got going on and dealing with. Hopefully he pushes through it and comes through on a better side. But yeah, we're going to move forward and move on. I do have a video I wanted to react to. It was in Atlanta too. Hell yeah. My day's been all right, Walt. I ain't done a whole lot. Been trying to do a little bit of house stuff. So I'm going to be live here for a little bit. But then I got to finish a whole bunch of house stuff because I didn't do nothing yesterday. But yeah, we'll get into it. And I'll do the house stuff whether it takes me till midnight. So it don't matter to me. And I've already started it. I just got to finish it. But yeah, we got a video here that I wanted to react to. It's the Brian Schottenheimer head coaching video. He had a what do you call it? A press conference. Says taking a good player to a great player. He's talking about how pretty much his player development.
That's me, right.
Yeah, it's a zip tie. Why'd you guys cut a fresh, perfectly good zip tie? You wasted a Who cut it?
Papi.
Witten. Hold on 1 second. Oh, I don't want to play the video yet. We're going to get it pulled up. And I'm going to unplug this because I am going to play it through the speakers instead of through the computer. So just make sure that you guys let me know if the audio is not clear or not crisp. I'm about to get the audio up. Let me get it shared. Let me get it put up here. All right. So this is the video we're going to react to. Let me get it ready though. Hold on 1 second. All right. Wait, did you cut that zip tie? The black zip tie with a pair of scissors. They were over there on the floor. Someone threw them on the floor.
What's that zip tie? What black zip tie?
The one that Mike had in his hand, or did he cut it with scissors?
No, Bobby cut. I don't know. Where's the black zip tie?
I just had to make sure you guys didn't have scissors down, and Mike had them in his hand. This is the black zip tie that got cut.
I did not cut that.
That face tells me
I
you did.
did not cut that.
That face tells me you did.
I did not cut it.
Your face tells me otherwise.
I did not cut it.
All right, I'm done with it. I just wanted to make sure that you didn't have scissors somewhere your 3-year-old brother could get them in his hand. That's all. I'm not mad at a zip tie. But all right, we'll get into this here.
Let's get them connected.
Let me know if you guys can hear the audio just fine.
Each other, the coaches, the building. Part of that is getting comfortable.
I'm going to start right at the beginning. Now, I will say that on these videos, I always hate that we can barely hear the actual journalist ask the question. So you guys got to be quiet over there because I can't. There's part of the videos that I need to be able to hear, and I can't with you guys talking. All right.
What's the objective of the rookies this weekend for you guys?
A couple things. Great question. I'd say number one is get them connected. Get them connected to each other, the coaches, the building.
Dude, go up and talk to her. What part of yelling is being quiet?
Part of that is getting comfortable being here and where we work out and where the meeting rooms are and, okay, what's that person's name? What's that person do here? All those things. And then we got a lot of catching up to do.
We got a similar style font tattoo on our left arm. We both wear our watch on our left arm. Hey, he must be right-handed.
From a football standpoint, we're 3 weeks in, I guess, with our vets. And so that's kind of what I talked about to them, the 3 C's, get them comfortable being a Cowboy, getting them kind of caught up with football, but probably most importantly, getting them connected to one another.
You started the offseason program a week later than normally as a rookie head coach. Why was that?
I think it was just, you get plenty of work. I wasn't going to do the mini camp. You'd have to start the first week to do the mini camp. Again, you guys get it. This is somebody said underwear Olympics, right? I mean, it's like you get to run around a little bit, but I felt really good about the schedule. And then
banging that table.
Week, just kind of give these guys a little bit more time to get away.
You guys can hear it? All right, cool.
It's time to get to work.
I try to turn it up loud enough so that you guys can get the actual journalist that's asking the question. You can actually get his voice too, but it's very hard. They're very low on the videos.
Me too. Me too.
How can a player make an impression in the underwear?
Yeah. All right, so the question was by Clarence Hill. Shout out Clarence Hill, the man who asked the question. I can talk about the voice. What kind of impression can you get from these players during this time when it is what they call the Underwear Olympics? All right, now we're going to get into the answer.
And what can you see from them and say, okay, this guy got it?
It's hard. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't hard. I think it's not just on the field, Clarence. I think it is in the meeting room. It's good questions. We talk about here like we have reviews, not installs. What does that mean? We put the stuff out the night before. It's their responsibility, both the vets and the young guys. The rookies are no different, that they look it over. So when we start the meetings and we start doing installation, that it's not us teaching it to them cold. They should come with questions, ideas, and things like that. So when we ask questions, a little bit of peer pressure. You see the guys that have maybe looked it over more than the other guys. But again, we're not going to get to full speed a whole lot today. We'll do some things. I'm used to some of the older days. We used to have 45, 50 guys. Hell, I'll go back to 2006 when I was with the Jets, my first year as a coordinator. And I think we had like 40-something guys, but we didn't have a left guard. So Mike Devlin was our tight end coach at the time, and he was a former offensive lineman. So we put him in full pads. It was probably illegal back in the day, but we did it. And I remember we were running a power play to the right. So Mike was pulling and hitting this 22-year-old just stud linebacker, whoever it was. And then, when you mess up a play, you reload. So we reloaded the play like 3 or 4 times. And Mike was like, stop. I need a break.
Time about having a coach come in to play the position because they didn't have the player. Yeah, that's the batteries. You just turn it off with the button right there. All right.
I've never heard a player, which was a coach at the time, call a timeout in the huddle because he was so gassed. But we've learned to adapt. There'll be a little bit of a walkthrough. We'll do some more individual stuff and some group stuff where we're throwing. You'll see the ball handling stuff with the quarterbacks, but it's definitely a different era of football.
How important you have the durable rookie draft pick signed? How important is that? Get him signed, get that out of the way before the camp. Both of us have to worry about that if you really get acclimated to.
I think it's more for them, just their peace of mind. They feel good about it, so they can focus on football. I think the big thing, for us, it's a little different. Usually we do it 2 weeks after the draft. This week we decide to do it now. They're going to have to leave. So these guys are going to need to have a plan of attack of what they're doing, how they're keeping their conditioning up. Because what I've told them all, and I'm kind of doing individual sit downs with all the guys, is when you leave here on Sunday, when they leave tomorrow, midday, and they all go home or they go back to their school, wherever they're training, they have to find time to condition. They have to find time to work out. They have to find time to study. Again, talked about getting caught up. The installs for rookie minicamp are much smaller than what we do with the veterans. And so the veterans, I think, we're on concept teach 8 or 9 with the vets. So they've got some work to do. But the maturity of this group, which I think you guys have had a chance to talk to them, they're very mature. I think they'll maximize the fact of while they're away, using that time to get caught up on what we're doing, but also find time to work out and stuff. Because, they're flying around.
So you're just talking a whole bunch about some boring stuff there. Really, it ain't got nothing to do with player development.
This weekend is always exciting. You see the nervousness with some of the players, but also the excitement. A lot of these guys have been dreaming about this day their entire life, going to play pro football and be selected, or at least have an opportunity to, compete. But for me, I love being on the grass. Like that's where, as a coach, you truly are. You get lost. You get lost in the moment. You get lost in the chance to connect and put hands on and get involved in the drills. Like, I'm a very on the go coach. I think you'll see that with our staff. They're very on the go and great energy, great juice. But that's what it's about. I mean, anybody can coach them in the meeting room. It's about being able to take the stuff from the meeting room to the field, but also the development of fundamentals, which you get.
And I can say one thing: the owners are completely bought in to Brian Schottenheimer. The players are completely bought in to Brian Schottenheimer. The under coaches are all completely bought in to Brian Schottenheimer. So, as he has not obviously had a coaching opportunity in 15 years for a head coaching position, this may be his chance to shine. And the culture shift that we're feeling and seeing in Dallas, it seems to be coming with good favor. That's for sure. I don't think it could be worse than it was before with the culture, because they didn't have a culture.
You guys have heard me talk about for a long time how important it is for a coach to be able to take a small, simple detail, break it down into the building blocks, and then get the player to execute it. That's how you take a good player to a great player, and a great player to a superstar.
And as the play caller, do you have the time or the wherewithal to, hey, what are the DBs doing here? Hey, what are the D-top? Like, will you go from group to group? Or
I will. Yeah, I'll move around. Yeah, I think it's important. The cool thing about what we've been doing in phase 2 is the guys work out at different times. So, I haven't missed any things we've done from offense, defense, special teams. But I'll obviously be hands-on with Dak and the quarterbacks a bunch. But again, it's my job as a head coach to know exactly what's going on in every room and at every drill. And again, our guys do a great job. The practice faces that we have, this is not one of them, but it's very detailed out. So I can kind of look, ahead, Todd, and say, okay, the second 5 minutes of individual, I want to go watch the DBs do this, or I want to go watch the linebackers do a pattern match drill, whatever it is. So because it's so clearly scripted out what we're going to do or what they're doing at those time slots, it makes it easy for me to kind of say, okay, this is the period or two I want to go check out on defense.
John Michelle was athletic. You've already been in the building.
Sounds like he's got it very organized in the building, too. I mean, I will say that these players, when they come in and they've had their interview and it's only their second day being in there, they are pretty clear and precise with their answers to the journalists in those interviews of what they might be doing with their role, how they feel. Like, everything, it's kind of moving quick with them. And I like that. And it seems that so far, everybody seems to be having a good grasp of it, or everybody that we've heard. There's obviously players that we haven't heard from. But as we go on, we'll see more and more of that progression. So I'm excited. I am excited for this season. I'm hoping with the culture shift and with the changes that have been made to the organization, they still need a lot of work in that front office, though. That front office dealing with player contracts, that needs some help. They need to go hire them a better person that's at that, because whoever's doing that, whether it's Jerry Jones or whoever, that is sloppy. That front office, their contracts are sloppy. They seemed like they were doing good this offseason until they got with this Micah Parsons. This Micah Parsons deal has been ridiculous. It should have already been done. There's no reason for it to have been dragged out like this. And the coach, the owners are saying they want to get it done. The player wants to get it done. So that literally only leaves the agent to be the one holding this up. And yes, the Jones did kind of throw them under the bus. And then Micah Parsons did then go kind of stand behind his agent. So I don't know what those conversations are being like or being had, but it needs to get done. Micah Parsons' deal needs to be done. They need to not be worrying about it. It's going to open up another 10 to 12, maybe 15 million in salary cap for this year. And then we need to go make a splash move to get us a new weapon opposite of CeeDee Lamb.
And I know you want to be authentic to yourself. Have you had to change anything in terms of the way that you carry yourself around the players or anything like that now that being the head coach different from what your previous role?
No. I think I've always been someone that believes in connection, getting to know these guys. I've always been someone that's able to be demanding, and I'm pretty good at disciplining guys. Not really, man. I just, I promised myself, John, when I got this opportunity, that I wouldn't change, because I think I've seen too many people change. And I think the guys I've seen change, I'm not going to name them, they weren't very successful. And I plan on being really successful. And the reason I think that I'll do that is because of my values, my beliefs, and how hard I work, but also the fact that I'm going to be me, and I'm not going to change that for anybody.
And then the players get to say that, keep going, you're going to have secrets. And, players that have left and some other guys, Mike is closer to that, things like that. Do you have a big say in that? Is it up to the players?
We moved some guys around. This year I did, along with the help of the staff. And again, they don't really get a say in that. But there's a method to the madness. I think when the guys went into the team room for the first time, I made them all stand up after they sat down. I let them sit down, and I had them stand up, and I had them move seats. Why? It's a new year. It's 2025. We'll do that in 2026. We'll do that in 2027 and beyond. I think it's just when you start a new year, do something different, change something up. So that's
good. That is good. I heard somebody mention something about that part of his conversation, and then that is good. You need to continuously make change. Only the dumb stay the same. Successful people learn to adapt and make change. And then the really, really successful people are the ones that are making the changes, and they're before the curve and before their time. And then the next couple of years that hits, and then they valued off of it. It's crazy. You need to make change.
But there's a method to the madness at times.
Nick Harris, Forward Star Telegram. I know you guys were obviously going after team captains and guys with maturity, like you were talking about. How have you already kind of seen that buy-in from them just on one-day walkers?
Yeah, you see a level of maturity. You see a level of professionalism. I talked a little bit about, the reviews, not installs. And I think, most of the questions that were asked in the meetings were the guys were on it. I mean, they had done their stuff. We haven't had any issues with guys being late, I think, but there's an intentionality about this group. Just yesterday, we did some stuff like drill work, walk through different things, and the ability of the defense to communicate and the coaching that was going on. It just sometimes you're coaching a guy and he's young and he's kind of looking around and whatnot. Like to watch Donovan look into A-Dub, Coach Whitecotton's eyes, it's like he's hanging on every word he says. And so I think that tells you that you have selected the right guys. Does that mean they're going to?
Here's where that word selectively aggressive comes back into play. We're finally hearing it reenacted. That they have selected the right guys.
End up being great players? No. I mean, you got to develop them and their skill sets and things like that. But this group, from my interaction with them, has been very, very positive and impressive with the type of character and human beings they are.
Don't make a mess.
This weekend, Savon Ravel, what is his responsibility?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's going to be a guy that's going to be limited. You won't see him out there running around today. He'll be doing some stuff with the training staff, but he's progressing great. The cool thing about some of the walkthroughs and stuff that we do is those guys can do that. We really don't have limitations on that. But again, there's so much that goes into it, just the film study, and we tape all of our installs. So like a couple of the guys have already started to watch the concept teach days that the vets had, because they already have down the 2 installs really for what we're doing in this camp. And
what's good? Shot of the day. Hey, you changed your name. Why'd you change your name? I know your channel got deleted, but you came back at first with the same name. Yeah. And you think that might be why you got banned? What up, Bentley and Steelers? What's good? What's good? Welcome in. Tap in.
It's cool to see those guys, but yeah, he's done a great job. He was doing all the individual stuff yesterday with DA, with the corners and all the walkthroughs, which is great.
I have no idea. I don't know. Wait, I don't care about Fortnite right now. All right. I don't know. Come on. Oh, that's Easton. He's not in here. All right, come on. Go. You guys are...
Well, I mean, I would ask the players, number one, I would say it's been very positive. Of course, I do ask our players how it's going, and,
Not much. What's good with y'all? What's good? Cowboys 12-4. Hey, I don't know. We'll see.
Checking in, see how, the relationships. Obviously, I'm a big one.
Yeah, I know you told me about the other channel getting deleted, but when you came back originally, you still had the same name. Like, you just made the same name in your new channel. But now I see you've changed your name. I was asking, is that because you think that might be why you got deleted? Or, I don't know. It was just a question. That would be, to me, a silly reason to ban a channel, but...
What was his name?
Was that maybe part of the process?
What was his name?
Relationship guy, I think. If you talk to the receivers, they feel like they're getting very close to Junior. They're earning each other's trust and respect. The game of football and coaching, it doesn't change. It really doesn't. I mean, it doesn't. The personalities might, but the X's and O's and what your objective is in coaching, whether you're coaching high school, college, or NFL. It doesn't change. You have to be able to connect with the person you're coaching, one. You have to have the knowledge of the skill sets and know basically what the hell you're talking about, number two, because the players want to know, can this guy help me get better? And I don't think that's much different in college right now, to be honest with you, because of the NIL. It's like, can this guy help me get paid? And if not, I'm going to go to...
Oh, damn, man. That shit sucks, bro. I hate that shit for you, bro.
Another chance get paid. So again, after you have the connection, you have to have the ability to teach the skill set that they know you can help them get better. And then you have to have the personality that allows you to have a hard conversation.
Get it all back
and
up
if they're
there.
not doing something
Get your
right,
subs
you have
all
to
back.
demand that they do it that way. And so in the case of Connor and Junior, I think they've both done a great job of earning the trust and respect. And but it doesn't just start there. I mean, just because Matt Eberflus has coached in the NFL for 20 plus years, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have to connect with Deron Bland. I've been here for 4 years. I'm constantly going out of my way, bringing guys up to my office, going to dinners to get to know these guys. I know them, but I laugh with the guys today. I told the rookies, I told the vets this last week. It's like my daughter's boyfriend. I'll say somebody's name and be like, oh, yeah, it's my guy. And I'll be like, it's not your guy. You don't even know him. And it's like, Clarence probably says about some of you guys, oh, that's my guy. Yeah, that was my guy. I'm like, but you really don't know him. So, yeah, I know these guys. I know a lot of our players, but I don't know them as well as I need to know them to lead them and to be the head coach of this football team.
That's good. See, like, that's good. Like, a lot of coaches, I feel, they don't know the players, and then therefore they don't know how to use them properly for their skill sets. If you get to know the people that you're using and working with on a regular basis, and you know them, you should be able to use them to do what they're best at, to help them have success. We've seen a lot of wasted talent here in Dallas from our previous coaching regimes, and plural, because Mike McCarthy, Jason Garrett, there's been others. There's been many. Wade Phillips wasn't that great. It's just been crazy. Mr. Beast came back after and but hasn't been around a lot like he was, but he has come back. Sarah, I have not seen Sarah. Not of my recollection.
Joe Hoy, DLO Sports. Savone Rebels obviously been through a lot and persevered. You guys are obviously looking for.
Man, I'm excited to see Savone Revo. I just pray that his ass stays healthy.
And players, just how much is that?
He's healthy. He's a first round talent all day.
Kind of in the hierarchy of intangibles.
It's big because there's going to be tough times. There's going to be low moments in the season. There's going to be low moments in your career. There's going to be low moments outside of football with your family. And I think that's something we talk about. Maybe the fact that grit's tattooed on my hand has something to do with that. We look at that. But I think, just when you go through people's journeys, I know you guys will probably ask me about Tyler Neville. I mean, you think about, what he's had to overcome and do. I think that you aspire to be around people like that. I know I do, because they motivate me. They push me to be better. They push me to work a little harder. They push me to stay a little later. They push me to challenge the other guys around them a little bit better. And so it's part of the process. We're not going to have just high character people. I mean, we're going to have bad days. There's going to be guys that have bad days, and I'm going to have bad days, and the coaches are going to have to learn how to deal with me when I'm maybe having a bad day. And that's all part of, again, the connection piece. It's not all rah-rah, like, oh, everything's great. It's not that. It's how do you handle each other when you're having a bad day.
Yeah, what I like to tell a lot of people, it's not about what you do when I'm watching. It's about what you do when I'm not watching. If you act the same as you do while I'm watching, that when I'm not watching, then I'll have that respect will then come.
Dad, I want to do stuff.
Because then I know you're being the same person.
Dad, I want to do stuff in my
Then go outside and play.
Going back to
then go do what you want to do with
it.
it.
Like that. In 1984,
He's
your dad,
3.
He went from
You're about to be
defensive coordinator
9.
head coach
Go
with
do
the
what
same
you want to
organization
do.
as well. I know you were just 11 years old at the time, but
Wait,
what do you
Micah,
remember about
leave
maybe
Bubba
how you
alone.
handled being in the building, being elevated, and maybe even if you had any conversations about that later in life?
I actually do. I know the story probably, and it's a great story, so I will share it with you guys. 84, he was the defense coordinator. The team starts 1-7, and they ended up, Art Modell made the decision to fire Sam Rutigliano Tuesday night or Monday night. I'm not sure about that. My dad gets called to Art Modell's house alongside Ernie Accorsi, and he sits down in front of Mr. Modell and Ernie, and Art says, "Hey, Marty, we've obviously moved on from Sam Rutigliano. I'd love to, offer you, to be the interim head coach of the Cleveland Browns." And my dad kind of goes, "Well, thank you, Art. I'm honored. I appreciate it, but I have to respectfully decline." And Art's like, "Come again?" He's like, "Yeah, I have to decline, but thank you." He goes, "Why?" He goes, "Because if I'm the interim head coach, then these players will not respect me enough to where they're going to follow me in my lead and what I want to build." And so I just thought it was really crazy that he had the conviction to say to this gentleman, "No, I'm not going to do it." So the story goes, Art was kind of taken aback, and he looks at Ernie, and Ernie looks at him, and they're like, He goes, Marty, you step out for a second. So he goes, yeah, sure. So
Away from my desk, please.
Art looks at Ernie Corsi, who's a dear friend of my father's, now, and he says, can you believe this guy? He goes,
he doesn't want to play with what you want to play with. You got to let him do what he wants to do.
I actually can, and I don't think he's
play with the toys that he lets you use.
Art calls my dad back in the office, and he says,
well, then go be
Coach,
mad
because I want to offer you a 2-year contract to be the head coach of Cleveland Browns. And my dad said, thank you very much, I'll take it. And there you go. That's the history of it. So, again, I think, you just have to be convicted about what's important to you. And I think at the end of the day, my dad was right. These interim titles, I mean, how many of these head coaches, and this is 1984, halfway through the 84 season, how many of these?
And that's kind of crazy because a lot of times, a lot of people before, like once he got hired, they all said that he was just going to be a holdover coach until Jason Witten is ready to be the coach. So that kind of title would almost be what they were saying Brian Schottenheimer is. Now, I feel like if Brian Schottenheimer shows the hell out this year as a head coach, I don't think that that's an opportunity that's going to be had. Now, if he has a bad year, maybe then that could come into an act. But I don't know. I think Schottenheimer's got a hold of his team, and I think that he's got these players wanting to run through walls for him. He's got the culture completely shifted in Dallas, but it's different. And we'll just have to see if it pays off for the Cowboys or what it does.
Interim tags end up sticking, because usually when you're in the interim tag, the players know it. And ownership is usually looking for another coach halfway through the season. And obviously that was 84, and then 86, 2 years later, they're in the AFC Championship game.
As the head coach,
Mike, you're not being very good.
Mike Parsons, whoever the case, helping these rookies kind of acclimate. How does he go to the culture?
Yeah, I think it's critical, and thank you for asking. I think, we talked to our group, both vets and rookies, about being intentional. I don't do the big introductions. So, okay, everybody get up and coaches stand up. And the reason I don't do that is because I want guys to be intentional. When we broke the first meeting with the rookies, I asked them to basically just spend 5 to 10 minutes mingling and walking up to people that you don't know and saying hello and introduce yourself. And so it was really cool for me because I was kind of sitting down at the bottom of the team room watching the interactions go on with the different position coaches, talking to players and coming down to talk to, Scott with nutrition and Claire and everybody like that. But if you say you're a family and if you say that that's the culture that you want to build, one that's about being family first and first class and joyful, then what your expectation is that your veterans reach out and will assist these young players. Dak reaching out to Tyler Booker the night of the draft is one example. Someone was leaving yesterday. It was Jalen Tolbert. He stopped and said hello to 3 or 4 of the guys. Luke Schoonmaker was here yesterday getting some extra work. He stopped and talked to a couple guys he had competed against. It's real. It's tangible. You feel it. And if you didn't feel it, then I would be upset and I would address it. But it's really important. And most of these guys, they look back and they remember what it was like to be a rookie and who looked after them. The coolest things for me at the 2 retirement press conferences of both Tyron and Zach, we're hearing them talk about the relationships and who impacted them. It's not always a veteran guy to a young guy, but that's what matters. Not one of those guys quoted, hey, in 2014 we were 11-5, and they didn't. What did they talk about? The guys that they appreciated and the coaches and Jerry and Steven and the organization, because that's what matters. And I think, in a business like ours where, hey, I'm going to be judged. We're going to be judged on wins and losses. And that's part of the deal. And believe me, no one wants to win more than me. No one wants to win a Super Bowl more than me. But at the end of the day, I'd not be doing my job if I didn't make sure that both young and old player alike weren't investing in one another.
In meeting with these guys one-on-one, the undrafted guys, how different is the message to them? Obviously, they have a much different role than a Tyler Booker and Donovan Ezra-Rocker coming in.
Yeah, to me, I don't look at it that way, Nick, to be honest with you. The path might be a little easier for Tyler Booker because you think, okay, first-round draft pick, he's definitely starting and he's whatever. I don't look at it that way because what's the mantra? Compete every day. So whether you're Tyler Neville, you're Zion Childress, you're Elijah Clark, whoever you are, I'm telling them don't get caught up in where you start on the depth chart. Get caught up on, did you win today? Did you have a competitive day? Were you the best version of yourself today? And if you did that and you continue to stack days like that, then guess what's going to happen? You're going to get noticed by your position coach. Then you're getting noticed by your coordinator. Then you're getting noticed by myself and Will McClay and the other guys. And most importantly, when you're doing that consistently, who are you going to get noticed by? Your teammates. And when you get noticed by your teammates like that, then guess what? That's when you know you've kind of broken through.
Yeah, Josh Butler, how's his recovery? Is that a guy you expect to have back?
Yeah, he's doing great. Again, the specifics of it are he could potentially be on PUP. It's really early still right now, but he's doing great in his rehab. He's here every day. He was one of the first ones here, one of the last ones to leave.
You got 1 minute.
Back to Clarence already? By the way, can I get an invite to the podcast or no? I mean, yeah. All right.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I had to go.
Sorry, Tad. Sorry, Tad. Hey, after everything slows down. Yeah, hey, that's right. I'm burning up his minute. Yeah, I got 30 seconds.
The importance of putting Mike on that. You just talked about that. You said that was COVID decision, and where do you see Jack in his rehab?
Yeah, first one's easy. 2 of our best players, put them together. There's also other things we're doing in there where guys are competing every day and different things that we've kind of put in there. But just they can challenge each other in a good way. And then you asked about Dak's rehab. Yeah, it's going well. He's doing great. And it's good to see him out there moving around a little bit on the grass. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, and that's that interview with Brian A. Schottenheimer. What is this?
Day 2 of Ricky minicamp for Dallas Cowboys. That's in the books. Today was the first look of the newest players on the field and a glimpse of what the Brian Schottenheimer era will kind of look like. From the hiring of position coaches to the results of the draft board, Schottenheimer seems pleased with how things are setting up for the upcoming season. Transitioning from offensive coordinator to his first head coach gig, Schottenheimer says he's not changing how he carries himself around the team. However, he does want to change the culture for the better, starting with putting Micah Parsons and Dak Prescott's lockers next to each other.
Hey, you got the star on defense and the star on offense right beside each other in the locker room. That's good.
2 of our best players, put them together. There's also other things we're doing in there where guys are competing every day and different things that we've kind of put in there. But just think they can challenge each other in a good way. But there's a method to the madness. I think when the guys went into the team room for the first time, I made them all stand up after they sat down. I let them sit down, and I had them stand up, and I had them move seats.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not going to risk making them have me cut this out of my channel just for the repeat everything he just said in the previous. I just wanted to see the clips of on the field. We could probably look that up ourselves.
Daddy.
Micah. I don't need to read every sign for you, baby.
That shine, Daddy. Can you help?
Yes. And it says speed limit 40. Make sure we get this all together. All right, so yeah, here we go. New guys on campus, the blitz. I don't know if we're gonna do all 20 minutes of this.
on the heels of the draft, just a few days after they get drafted. Here recently, it's been a couple of weeks before the rookies get here. They get to hit the ground running, and eventually they'll be with the veterans.
Well, and I think it mirrors what Brian Schottenheimer wants to do from a culture aspect. He wants to waste no time trying
And again, we hear that culture from Brian Schottenheimer. What up, Crush on A&L? What's good? What's good? Welcome in, brother. I appreciate. Who would it be? I mean, I honestly would take either Pickens, Williams, Pickens from the Steelers, Williams from Detroit, or DJ Moore. I would take either of them. I was pounding the table before the draft for the Cowboys to trade the 12th pick to Seattle for the 18th pick. We could have even given them a wide receiver in return and also receive DK Metcalf. I wanted that so bad. Like, I was willing to give them the 12th pick and the 170 pick for DK, or the 12th pick and a player. They took a 3rd-round pick for DK. We could have had DK Metcalf. Now, yes, we would have had to sign him to a $30 million deal, but we could have limited that number this year, and we have the cap for it. We have the cap to be able to do that. We have more than that. So why wouldn't we have done that? We could have had DK Metcalf and CeeDee Lamb. Are you kidding me? And then we heard that CeeDee Lamb and CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott were advocating for Cooper Kupp. The Cowboys ultimately were interested in that. And then Cooper Kupp's value came out, and they didn't want to pay him what he's asking for, which seems cheap in comparison to some other wide receivers. But I get it. He had also been a hurt guy. But I think that Cooper Kupp could have changed us, but I think DK Metcalf would have made a difference here in Dallas. I would have took Devontae Adams. I would have took DeAndre Hopkins. I wanted a big body wide receiver to, 1, help in the red zone area, and 2, just be able to be physical against the DB that they're playing against. The physicality. Now, Pickens, obviously, he's a crash out. But I think that he's been crashing out on a team that he has not had a solid, consistent quarterback on. I think if he has a solid, consistent quarterback play, it may alter him a little bit. And I kind of like a little bit of the aggression out of him. I like that he's physical. I like that he don't take no shit. Is that a cancer in the locker room? That I don't know. So I cannot comment on that. But I would love to have had either Pickens or Williamson. Now, I don't think Williams is really that physical from Detroit, but I think he's got the speed and the hands to be able to come in and make a difference. Your nose?
No. No.
I gotta go wash my hands. Wait and left the damn door open. Will you go close the door?
No, Dad.
Thank you. All right. Exactly. And I think that he doesn't have a leader on the Steelers to help guide him. He would have CD and Dak kind of pushing his mentality a little bit.
No, Dad.
What? I don't want these. But I agree.
To establish what he wants to establish from a coaching staff and from a playing standpoint, and that is, let's get to work. You've seen that from the mentality of these rookies. You talked to Tyler Booker this week, talked to Donovan Ezeraku this week, even some of the guys out of the 7th round like Phil Maffa and Tommy Akingbasote. Those guys, have everything in front of them. They want to waste no time getting after it, and I think this week's a pretty good indication of that. Some inclement weather kind of affected things on Friday, but moving into the weekend, got a couple good practices in, meetings all weekend long. They're already moving in the right direction toward training camp.
A lot of concern is the Cowboys did not draft a wide receiver. So what about wide receiver 2 on this team?
Hey, here we may be talking about that right now. So let's hear what they got to say on that.
Well, that's the thing, is it may not be on the team currently, and that's the big rumor.
That's the answer I want to hear. I don't want to hear we already have the wide receiver number 2 that we need. No, and no again. Because, yes, we have a couple wide receivers that maybe could be a good number 2. I don't want a maybe going into the season. I want to know that my number 2 wide receiver has got my number 1 wide receiver and my quarterbacks back so that he can do a job that I've seen do. And I know that he's good at what he's doing. Brandon Cooks did not pay out. I did not even like the Brandon Cooks trade. I was pounding on the table back then for DeAndre Hopkins or damn it, I can't think of his name. Green Bay. Devontae Adams. I wanted them back there. Back 3-4 years ago before we got Brandon Cooks. I was there's videos. I was calling for DeAndre Hopkins or like I said, I forget the man's name twice. But you get the point. Like Devontae Adams. But yeah, I feel like that they could have came in, and honestly, CD looked up to DeAndre Hopkins and Devontae Adams. He admired them. He actually wanted to wear the number 10 in respect for DeAndre Hopkins when he came into the league, but they wanted him to wear the 88. So I felt like those could have been good fits in Dallas and could have been a very solid number 2 wide receiver that was a big body to pair with CD Lamb. They didn't do that. They went with Brandon Cooks, a small speedster guy, which I thought we already had that. We have Cavante Turpin. If we needed to use a wide receiver that has small and speed, use Turpin. He was a MVP in the CFL or the UFL, wherever he was, as a wide receiver, not as a kick returner. He was the MVP as a wide receiver, and we have yet to use him in that role. I do think we will get more of that this season. All we've gotten previously is scat packs, maybe a deep shot once or twice a year, and then kick returns. I think he does get a larger role as a wide receiver this year, but I still want if you look at our closest competitor, which is the Eagles, you would say that they have 2 number 1 wide receivers, along with a solid, if not impressive, run game. We don't have a number 3 wide receiver that's even close to being a number 2 as far as how they have already played. What they can be in the future, that's a question mark. That's what I don't want. I want to know that their wide receiver 2 is going to come in and be able to do his job. Not be hoping for it.
Cowboys circles right now. No, they did not address wide receiver in the draft, but the value wasn't really there. They took the best player on their board in Tyler Booker in round 1. The
value was there. We could have took Matthew Golden or Luther Burden at the number 12 pick. I am not mad with Tyler Booker. From everything I've heard and seen from that young man, he's going to be a dog. And he's already calling out Jalen Carter. Already wants to put Jalen Carter in the dirt. I don't know if what I watched was an AI clip because I haven't been able to find it again, but I've wanted to. I tried to find it on screen on live one day. But I swore I saw a video of him calling out Jalen Carter by name and calling him a crybaby and saying that he wanted to put him down. And then we also hear him talk about how what he loves about football is when a good player comes up against him and they're good up until they come up against him, and then he gets to watch the love of the football leave this man while he's putting in work.
McMillan may have fallen. He may have been a Dallas Cowboy at that point, but they didn't stretch their board. Now they have to explore other avenues. Maybe it's a reunion with free agent Amari.
I honestly valued Luther Burden and Michael Golden over Ted McMillan, but other places didn't value that.
Cooper, that's certainly been a rumor that is growing in its entirety over this last week. That the numbers and the fit has to be right, and it may not be Amari Cooper. It may be one of those trades that Jerry Jones was alluding to. But I think when you look at this wide receiver depth chart,
those trades that Jerry Jones was alluding to was George Pickens, Jamison Williams, or DJ Moore. I would take DJ Moore. Now, I would argue that Pickens and Williams are better, but I would take DJ Moore and be satisfied with that. It's not quite what I want, but I would be satisfied with that.
You feel really good about CeeDee Lamb and what he brings. You think the guys like Jalen Tolbert and Kevontae Turpin, Jonathan Mingo can bring substantial production on the back half of the roster. You got to find somebody else that's a legitimate threat, play in, play out for the Dallas Cowboys, and that's what they're going to be looking for. If CeeDee Lamb is covered, if he's double-teamed, if he's taken out of a game plan by an opposing defense, you need somebody else that's willing and
somebody that wasn't here last year, other than that backup Philadelphia guy that we picked up, which was like another small speed guy, pointless.
Able to step up into a wide receiver 1 role. That's where the wide receiver 2 tag comes from.
Yes, they need to replace Brandon Cooks, who has moved on to the New Orleans Saints.
No, they need to do more than replace Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks needed to be replaced. And kudos, shout out to Brandon Cooks. I think we needed something different than that.
Just getting started on this edition of The Blitz. When we come back, Nicole Hutchison joins the show on Thursday, and guess who was there to greet them? Nicole herself, right?
I sure was, Bill. I mean, I got a chance to see and meet the different personalities we're getting here, but obviously the future of the franchise, I'm really excited for.
And we got to do a lot of the interviews yesterday on live stream, or Thursday. Hey, I think it was yesterday. We did a live stream, and we covered a bunch of the interviews of these upcoming players that we brought into the building. I think there's still a few interviews that we're missing. Hopefully we'll get those in the next day or two, and we'll be able to make another live stream off of those. But yeah, man, we try.
But they got to do a lot of.
This is the We Try Hard media.
Some different things, right? Getting fitted for the equipment, getting fitted.
Cousins to the broke ass media. Cousins to broke ass media. We Try Hard.
For their cleats and all those good things like that, but they really got to reflect on all the hard work that's finally paid off here to get them here in Dallas.
All right, let's get the music out of this. We're not going to play the music because I don't know what the music is, but this is the video that they have.
This past combine trainer, very familiar with the area, and the whole time I was training, I was like, man, it would be really great to live here and play here, and God saw fit for that to be so I'm very blessed.
It's a dream come true. You know, I always dreamed of, having an opportunity to play, at the biggest stage for my home state. So, man, it's a blessing. I mean, something I take for granted.
I think it's still part of the process, so like, being grad, orientation and stuff, I guess. But it's pretty cool actually being here, seeing all practice. I'm excited.
Brian Schottenheimer said about this class is that you guys are all competitive, you guys are all leaders as well. What's the vibe amongst this rookie class?
Exactly that. You can tell us, we got a little edge to us, that competitive edge. But it's been pretty good though, because we seem kind of cool, pulling each other out, things like that.
For us to get a chance to be here and spend time together, it means the world to me. I'm a big, big on relationships, so it's a good feeling to be able to get to play with the guys that I played against in college.
Honestly, just blessed, feeling really blessed.
Jay Turner, the
to be in this position.
Man, I'm excited to see him
Facility
play.
America's team.
I've heard good things about that
What are you
DT,
looking forward
that
to
one
this weekend out of rookie
no
minicamp?
tech.
Just getting out there competing, get better at football.
I like football. I think I can get better at football. I think that's why I came here to get better at football. And I like to compete. I think it's raw. It's part of the human nature, and that's what I've loved to do since I was a kid. So just compete, get better.
Well, walks of life, Bill, but they have one thing in common. They're ready to compete, and that's with the big dogs when they come for OTA soon. So I'm excited to see that competition.
Yeah, just a little orientation of what they can expect. Things get real when they mix with the veterans very soon. Nicole, we appreciate it. The Blitz continues in a moment.
This segment was brought to you.
Make the case that cornerback might be the biggest need
What up,
on
Trent?
this team. Of course, in the third round, they took a quarterback in Savone Rebel. What about this cornerback position? Let's start by taking a look at what we've got on this depth chart here.
And that's the thing, is there are plenty of guys. 9 names is a good amount.
Josh
Maybe
Butler
put
and
CJ
Andrew
Goodwin
Booth.
in its own category. He's the
Goodbye,
special teams
please.
ace of this Dallas Cowboys
Kalen
franchise.
Carson.
But you feel good about Trayvon.
Trayvon Diggs, hopefully you come back solid around Thanksgiving time. Siobhan Ravel, please stay healthy. I know you're a dog. THIER Elam, show the haters what you got, brother, because there's a lot of people talking down on you like you can't play. I think it's the opposite. I think you were caught up in the wrong type of system. I think you'll fit better over here, THIER Elam. Josh Butler, Andrew Booth. Last year, you guys were horrendous. Either do better or be gone. Like Luke Baracco, I don't know anything about you, brother. Don't know nothing. Deron Bland, we need a solid, healthy season out of you. We know what you're capable of, Deron. I'm curious if they're going to move you over to nickel or not, or have you in the slot. That's to be seen. Kalen Carson, you had a lot of promise coming out of college, brother. You had a lot of promise coming out of college. Haven't quite shown that, and then you got injured. We need you to make a big step up. We need you to stay healthy and do your thing. Keemon Hall, you played great when put in position. Obviously didn't have a whole lot of opportunities, but when you did, you made the best of them. I expect a continuance out of that. Troy Pride Jr., can't say I know anything about that man right there. CJ Goodwin, that's our special teams extraordinaire. He's a dog. He's a little bit older, but he's more of a special teams type player, and that might be the same with Luke Baracco and Troy Pride, seeing as I don't know those two names. What up, Classified? Classified Robot? Is that what you are? Probably. All right, we'll get back and do it.
On Diggs.
What up, James? What's
He's
good,
healthy.
brother? Welcome
Same
in.
thing with
Welcome
Deron Bland,
in.
as long as he's healthy. But the Cowboys used 9 different cornerbacks through the 2024 season. So what is there to have in terms of the 2025 season? Savone Rebel comes already in with an injury question. So you got to feel like Diggs and Bland are the cornerstones already. Rebel, what you get from him is going to be a cherry on top. The guys you really need to step up are the second and third team guys on the depth chart. Guys like Kalen Carson, guys like Josh Butler, who's going into year number 3 with this Cowboys team. Even Andrew Booth, who's in his second year after being traded from Minnesota this past year to Dallas. So overall, there's some depth there. And I think if Rebels ends up being healthy and he adds to this mix more than anything, he's going to help kind of sure things up on the outside, as what was a revolving door last year hopefully comes to an infinitive close.
You know, and the thing that makes it tricky is the injury situation. You mentioned Diggs. We'll see where he is once things get going. Rebel as well, coming off an ACL. You mentioned Josh Butler. He's coming off an ACL. So, but you look at guys that they have acquired, Rebel and in particular THIER Elam in the offseason, and those are guys that have to come through here.
And that's
Elam especially, because Rebel, we don't know where he is injury.
Exactly. THIER Elam is an underrated trade product of this offseason for Dallas, because what he did as a former premium draft pick in Buffalo still shows that he has something left in the tank. You add that with a young talent like Savone Rebel and what he brings out of East Carolina, it's that veteran and rookie combo that could possibly be special for the cornerback position as a whole. Because if you're going to have the injury concerns around guys like Trayvon Diggs, there's still a question mark on when he could be available for training camp. If there's injury concerns over Savone Rebel and where he could be involved in training camp, I think for the most part, THIER Elam's the wild card out of all this. As long as he stays healthy.
I think the wild card, THIER Elam, is going to come in and make all the people that talk trash about him think secondly or think differently. Why'd you leave
and
the
he
garage
takes his
doors
game
wide
up a notch, even from what Dallas had last year. I think you're looking at a completely different confidence level from the boundary cornerback position. My biggest question going into this year, though, is who's going to
and
play
then
the
you, and then you
nickel spot?
left
Where
the
are you
back
going
door
to
open.
replace Jordan Lewis? Because that's the one big
No, but
loss
that's
that
where
you
you
have
open the
out of
garage
this
from.
cornerback room from last year. Could you possibly move Rebel inside? Would you move DeRon Bland back inside where he has had some success throughout
That
his
was my question. Is DeRon Bland now going to be moved back inside?
career when filling in for Jordan Lewis when Lewis was out for injury? So if you're able to move one guy or the next, that's one thing. But is there a permanent nickelback on this roster? I don't know if I see one specific.
And
That's the
don't forget
question.
that
Jordan
Kalen
Lewis
Carson,
being
fifth-round
gone,
draft pick.
with Jordan Lewis being gone, that leaves a big void there for the nickel position for sure. That's why I said I think Bland might be put in that role.
Last year who made
Or
5
one of the
starts
young
a
guys,
year
I don't know.
ago. And coaches talk about that jump from the first year to the second year. It's the biggest that a player makes. And they need a big jump from Kalen Carson. And then there's also the option, just like we talked about previously at the wide receiver position, what's out there in free agency as well.
You could add one more name to this mix. And they did so at training camp last year when they made the trade, Nashawn Wright and Andrew Booth. They felt like they kind of run out of the rope for Nashawn Wright, who was a Dan Quinn guy. They go get Andrew Booth, who contributed on special teams, and then at the back half of the schedule last year, filled in remarkably at different times for this cornerback spot. So there's still a lot of growth to be had out of the cornerback room, but I think with the guys that they have in the building at the moment, and especially if Revel is back and healthy moving into the early parts of this season, maybe even as soon as training camp is what he said to the media this week during rookie minicamp, there's confidence to be had at the cornerback position. I don't know if it's as much of a need as it once was going into the offseason.
Well, some questions still to be answered at cornerback. Perhaps the Cowboys answered a question at edge rusher in the second round of the draft. Who replaces DeMarcus Lawrence and others at the edge rusher position? We dive into that when the Blitz continues in a moment.
This segment was brought to you by Reliant, the official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
Donovan Jojo. Dallas Cowboys. What happened?
Donovan is a rock bull. I think he's going to do good things. Ty Church. How do you know what Pickens wants to do or not? Pickens, I don't think, wants to be a Steeler either. He's had no progression over there because there's no quarterback. There's no really offensive scheming. That's a defensive first team. But how do you know what Pickens wants? Are you in his circle? Because if you're not in his circle, then you don't know what he wants.
When does it you get a blue pass rusher? That means you're great with blue character like you. That's a rare occasion. You know, you're a dog.
This is another player that comes in that's kind of like a Micah Parsons in a sense that he can move around on the line. He's obviously not Micah Parsons, but I think he's the closest thing you could get besides maybe Abdul Carter, which we obviously didn't get him. We got to see him twice
Yes,
a year.
Donovan Ezeraku out of Boston College, second-round draft pick of the Cowboys. Bill Jones.
I think his name's going to be called a lot in good manner throughout this season.
With Kyle Yeomans. And Kyle, I got to tell you, in my big green notebook, you know what it says here? All caps about Donovan Ezeraku. Sharp. Very good talker. That's one of the big things I look for with these players. Can they talk? And he proved this weekend he can talk.
Yeah, he definitely has. And throughout the minicamp process, he continued to show why.
I don't care if he can talk or not. I want to care if he can play.
The Cowboys were so impressed by him through the draft process. Even so, I got my Boston College maroon on today for Donovan Ezeraku. No, he was great to talk to and get to know. I can't wait to see how he brings that energy to this edge rusher room that already has plenty of energy to go around.
And so where will he fit into this Dallas Cowboys edge rush?
I think that we easily could have multiple players this year have double-digit sacks. I think Micah Parsons and Devontae Fowler are almost shoo-ins for double-digit sacks. Donovan Izaraku, I really think could be that. I don't know. If Sam Williams stays healthy, I think he could easily be that. Marshawn Nealon is a question mark because he was a rookie last year that played really well, but he was hurt. So we'll have to see. Peyton Turner is another guy we traded for. He has high promise, but also injury concern. But I think that if all stays good this year, I think double digit, and very possible double digits for these three. Where we're used to only getting Micah Parsons to be the double-digit sack. Like, we thought DeMarcus Lawrence, D-Law, and Micah Parsons were going to be competing in sacks, but that wasn't the case. Micah Parsons was eating them all up. D-Law, I don't think ever hit 10 with Micah Parsons being on the field.
Sure depth chart. Well, we put him right at the top right here. Of course, Dante Fowler reacquired during this offseason. He had 10.5 sacks last year for Washington, but the room looks more full now after the draft.
Thank goodness, because of course you get Sam Williams back, you get guys back from injury like Marshawn Nealon, who was in and out of the lineup last year. This could really be a strength for the Cowboys and Matt Eberflus in his first year as a defensive coordinator. The good thing about that is, yes, you've had so many defensive coordinator changes since the start of the 2020 season, but you also have edge rushers that are experienced and have some youth in there as well. Micah Parsons, of course, has become one of the best edge rushers in football. Marshawn Nealon flashed at times last year. Sam Williams is uber athletic and looked like he was on the right track going into another season before his training camp injury last year. When you get all those guys back and piece it together, you might look at this as a 2 or 3 line deep depth chart, and you feel really good about the edge rusher spot overall. You need some help to go your way throughout the season, but if they're able to stay healthy, I think this is a front seven that's going to get back to being one of the best in the NFC.
And I think we could very easily be competing. We could very easily be competing for the sack record this year if everybody stays healthy.
You know, at the defensive end position, you almost look at it like the running back position and the running back by committee.
Sure.
But on defense, it's Micah is the lead dog, obviously, and then everybody else is sort of an edge rusher by committee approach.
Well, and that's how Matt Eberflus wants to run things. He wants to keep these legs fresh going into the third, fourth quarters of a crucial football game. So they're going to rotate guys specifically at the edge rusher spot, sometimes at that 1 and 3 technique. We'll talk about that later in the offseason. But when it comes to edge rushers, you want a legitimate rotation. So when you get past that first wave, let's say it is Parsons and Izaraku, then you go to Fowler and a couple other guys that have been added into the mix this offseason as well. It's not just that first wave of guys. You've got 2 newcomers that are going to come in and make an impact. Add the guys like Sam Williams. Add the guys like Marshawn Nealon, who was a second-round pick this past offseason. I think for the most part, you're looking at edge rusher as a strength now, and you've got depth to it as well. Matt Eberflus has plenty of athletes to play with on that edge rusher spot, and it's going to bring this team back to the forefront defensively.
And that guy right there, who wore number 6 at Boston College, he'll wear number 41 for the Cowboys, Donovan Izaraku. Okay, he put up big numbers last year as far as getting to the quarterback, 16.5 sacks. But he also put up big numbers with tackles. He had 80 tackles last year.
And when you don't have DeMarcus Lawrence on this roster anymore, when he was healthy, he was one of your best run defenders off of the edge. And to set the edge for a defense is going to allow everyone else to flow freely, whether it's linebacker to stirring the entire defense up and making sure that.
I think Izaraku could easily be a Dante Fowler type dude.
Matt Eberflus has plenty on the back end.
Which we took Washington's best pass rusher away from him with Dante Fowler, even though he was a Cowboy the year before. He's been a 10-sack-plus guy the last 3 years, so.
Secondary, plenty of time to get ready and cover those guys.
If these guys can get to the quarterback, that helps. That gets to the quarterback, that helps the cornerback position.
Yes, sir. Well. You give the cornerbacks more time to cover, makes it harder for the wide receivers to get open. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ooh, I didn't mean to close that out. Now, what I'm doing.
All right, we wrap up the Blitz in just a moment. Some key dates to remember as Brian Schottenheimer has his team together.
Blitz.com.
Blitz, Bill Jones with Kyle Yeomans, and it's time for us to prepare you for the weeks and the months ahead as we count down to training camp. Some key dates to remember. One of them already passed back on May 1st this past week. A key date because for a guy like Tyler Smith, the Cowboys did pick up his fifth-year option, being a first-round draft pick back 3 years ago. Kyer Elam, they did not pick up his fifth-year option. Some other key dates there, Kyle.
Yeah, of course, the rookies will be back in the building next week to finish up rookie mini camp and get maybe another walkthrough or practice in there. Then, of course, we're going to figure out what the NFLPA rookie premiere looks like and the Cowboys schedule release on May 14th, 7 o'clock Central Time. Cannot wait to see who the Cowboys are going to play and where they're going to play them and when they're going to play them, because we already know the opponents across the board. But then you get into OTAs, that deadline to sign those franchise tags, July 15th. Keep that in mind. That'll be a talking point all the way through the offseason. And then before you know a blink of an eye.
I don't want this Micah Parsons contract going all the way up to this damn deadline for franchise tag players. I don't want that. They need to get this Micah Parsons deal done. We don't need to be asking, is he going to be franchise tagged? No. Sign the damn man. Get him paid. Open up more salary cap. Go get a damn wide receiver before training camp. I want the wide receiver we pick up to be there during OTAs and training camp and all of that. I want him to be a part of the team as the team is coming together, not coming in after and missing out on all the installs and everything.
We're going to be back in Oxnard, California for training camp.
All right, what's the big thing you learned in rookie minicamp?
Well, the culture has already begun to lay the foundation. You can feel the energy. You can feel the excitement. Talking through most of the rookie class, if not all of the rookie class, they have one thing in mind, and that is getting better. You heard Nicole Hutchison talk about it earlier. That energy is infectious, and I think it starts from the top down. Brian Schottenheimer already setting the groundwork for the 25 season.
All right, that does it for the Blitz. For Kyle Yeomans and Nicole Hutchison, I'm Bill.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Yeah, so that's what we had on the schedule here for reacting to today. I may pop back on live later for a Fortnite match on my other channel. If you guys want to check that out, it's Fortnite Gaming or Ryals Gaming. I just play video games over there and shoot the shit, talk, have fun. But y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay great. As always, I'm Ryals. Make sure y'all don't forget to hit those like buttons. Subscribe, notification bell, turn all that on. That way y'all see when we go live. Y'all can hang out every time we hit the air. Y'all stay blessed. Peace.